High School. Now, these two schools are going to argue for and against the motion. Quote, Ghana should adopt China's system of elites choosing the president instead of popular vote, unquote. Now, we have KNUST Senior High School arguing for the motion and Afigyaman Senior High arguing against the motion. And as always, like we do, let's gauge the mood even before they get on stage. And I have some students or supporters from these two schools right now with me to have a conversation. I'm going to go straight to the lady from KNUST Senior High School. Sweetheart, how are you doing? Tell me your name and what we should expect from your school in 30 seconds.
So I'm Joycelyn Akuyonate, the Writers and Debaters President of KNUST Senior High School. Last year, we couldn't get a trophy, but this year we came with full energy to get a trophy. So watch out for the best. Thank you.
Okay, watch out for the best. And this lady from Afigyaman, you also have 30 seconds to share something with me.
I'm Suleiman Latifa, a president of Afigyaman Senior High. We are here to let our opponents know that we are here to send them back homes.
Okay. Here to send KNUST home. Let's see if the patrons or the teachers agree with the students right now. Let's have the patrons come in quickly. Let's do this, please. And I'm just going to go also now to the gentleman from Efisco. Boss, let me hear from you in 30 seconds.
My name is Abraham Nakuma, the SRD patron for Afigyaman SHS. We are here for a beautiful contest, and we expect that at the end of the day, the best school wins.
Okay, simple. And finally to the KNUST gentleman.
I'm Gideon Sapon, patron for KNUST Senior High School. First, we are here to announce our presence. Then I assure all viewers and listeners that they should sit back and enjoy greatness today.
Okay, so talking of viewers, we'd like to say thank you to viewers on Joy 99.5 FM, and also everybody watching us on social media. We appreciate the love and the support. Remember that the hashtag remains LUVFMHSD, and this is still the Love FM Kel Chaco Toothpaste debate. David, you can wait now.
Well, thank you very much, Patricia Amabonsu. And Patricia, you know what? Here in the auditorium at the Christian Service University, the temperature is fever high. Make some noise and put your hands together. Showing those watching us on television, on Joy Prime and Joy Learning, telling those listening to us on radio, on Love 99.5, and all those watching us on our socials, on Love, on Facebook, on TikTok and YouTube, that you are here, you are excited to be here. Ladies and gentlemen, like Patricia Amabusu said a while ago, last week we began the 2026 edition of the Love FM High Schools debate, and of course, those were the preliminary stage. We have gotten to the round of 16. And today we witness 4 schools who will be doing battle in contest 1 and contest 2. Let me also take this opportunity to say a very big thank you to our partners who are supporting us to bring to you the 2026 edition. That is a Love FM High Schools Kel Chaco Toothpaste High Schools debate. And I'd like to acknowledge the presence, of course, of all our judges. Our chairperson is also here. I'll be introducing them to you in a bit. But I'd like to say a big thank you to the Ashanti Regional SRC, to the Ashanti Regional GES, and also the heads of conference of our state secondary schools, that is CHAS. Please put your hands together for all of them. This year's edition, ladies and gentlemen, is brought to you by Kel Chaco Toothpaste, and it's from Samara Company Limited. It's also brought to you courtesy Didi Shuto Homemade Taste, Best Brain Publications, Christian Service University, Oneplex 400, Jackson University College, New Generation Investment Services, Amase Community Bank PLC, Seppo Mescal Pen, Bigo and Vena Mineral Water from Trillium Industrial Company Limited, Otuasican Community Bank, Tamak Questions and Answers Textbooks, Orion Cyrus Publications, St. Ben Jewelry, and The Sea Travels. Please put your hands together for our sponsors as well. And once you're comfortably seated, I'd like for you to put your hands together for the university, that is the Christian Service University, for also supporting us to bring to you the round of 16 contest for today. Like Patricia said, the contest will be between KNUST Senior High School. They were seeded for this year's competition because they were in the semi-finals of last year's competition, and they'll be pitching their strength against Afigyaman Senior High School. Imagine ma. Nyansapo. Great Efisco. Great Efisco. Great Efisco. All right, so with that out of the way, let me take this opportunity to introduce to you the patron and also the chairperson for the Love FM High Schools debate. For those of you who have been following us, you know that this is the 8th edition. The very first edition was won by T.I. Amas. Second edition was won by St. Jerome. The third edition was won by St. Monica's. And then from that, we've had 2 schools battle it out and becoming victorious. So we've had, Kumasi High School winning the 4th edition. Prempeh College won the 5th edition. High School won the 6th edition. Prempeh College won the 7th edition. That was last year. And so they are the defending champions. This person I'm introducing to you now is an educationist, a youth and marriage counselor, a preacher, a mentor, and a philanthropist. Now, she has counseled the youth and students since 1978. Now, she's a renowned marriage counselor. As an educationist, she has over 55 years of experience both in Ghana and abroad. Now, she's a former assistant headmistress of Kumasi High School and headmistress of KNUST SHS from 1992 to 2008. Now, she is also a co-founder and the principal of Jackson University College, which offers 1-year postgraduate diploma in education, master's and MPhil in maths, English, guidance and counseling, educational leadership, and administration, not forgetting B.Ed programs. Now, in partnership with NIIT India, they offer many technology programs. Now, her passion is to instill moral training to the youth in order to transform society. She is married to Professor Ebenezer Asefua Jackson, and by the grace of God, they've got 4 adult children, Daniel, Emmanuel, Nora, and Ebenezer. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the chairperson, Mrs. Theodosia Jackson. Now, with that out of the way, I'd like to introduce to you our panel of judges. One of the judges goes by the name Reverend Joseph Janvible. Now, he is with the theology department at the Christian Service University. Now, he has taught in that department for several years. Please put your hands together for one of our judges, Reverend Joseph Janvible, who is with us here this afternoon. Another reverend is here with us. He goes by the name Reverend Justice Bofa Pokumenta. He's a lecturer at the Christian Service University. He is with the Department of Communication Studies. Listen, gentlemen, please put your hands together for Reverend Justice Bofa Pokumenta. Once I'm giving out the title of Reverend Ministers, I think I can call him Reverend Dr. Peter Arthur Pierrot. He's also right here with us as our lead judge. Now, Dr. Peter Arthur is a senior lecturer and former head of Department of English at KNUST, former head of Department of Language and Communication Sciences, KNUST. He's a textual analyst, and he's here as well this afternoon as our lead judge. Please show him some love. Thank you so much. You're such a wonderful audience. Now, like we always say, and like we all know, to every game there are rules. And so he being the lead judge, I'll be calling upon him to mount the podium and share with us the rules of engagement. And again, as judges, how they'll be scoring. This is very important because sometimes people are like, oh, I think my debater did very well. He or she did A, B, C, and D, and yet they didn't win. Maybe he or she failed in a part of the rules of engagement. Listen to him with rapt attention.
Thank you, Dave. Yeah, they will be saying so because we have our criteria in handling these things. And that's exactly what I'm going to give out. Madam Chair, with your usual permission, I'll go ahead and then break down the rules for my dear students. My dear students, we have 5 parameters. Listen attentively. We have organization and clarity, argument and development, use of effective rebuttal, presentation style, role as a particular debater. Now I'm taking them one by one. So when we talk about organization and clarity, we are talking about how you raise your points and how you distribute them so that we have clarity in your presentation. We expect a very good introduction. We expect a very good development and a very good conclusion. Yes, for the first speaker, we have 15 marks for that. And then the second speaker is taking 10 marks for that. And then the summary is going for 5 marks. Arguments and development. Please pay attention here. I keep on saying that you have to argue well. Now, listen. For every argument, you have a deep structure. And there are conflictual forces that will push the deep structure to the surface structure But then, before it becomes surface, there must be logic. Therefore, two basic ones, we talk about the causal chain and then the procedural chain. The causal chain being that A naturally gives birth to B, and there is no question about that. If there is any question about that, it's up to you to make sure that you do the repair so that A can be B. Then you have the procedural chain. Simply means that 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals to, oh, come on, I didn't hear you. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is equals to, it's 3. If you take 1 out, it's no more 3. That's how we reason. So reason clearly. Here, the first speaker is taking 15 marks. The second speaker is taking 10 marks. And then the summary is going for 5 marks. Effective use of rebuttal. Simple. You just listen. And if the person 1 plus 1 plus 1 is making it 1 plus 1 is equals to 3, you tell me that, my dear, no, 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. It's not 3. And then you tell him why you believe that it's 2. As simple as that. And then when it comes to the procedural, the causal, you say, my dear, this cause is just a sufficient cause. That means that we have other causes. So you can't just say that this one automatically gives birth to that. And then you argue it out. Now, here you have the first speaker taking 5, and then the second speaker taking 10, because it's the second speaker who is going to do that kind of job when it comes to rebuttals, and there is nothing for the summary. Then presentation style. Please, we are moving on. Now, take your time to articulate. All right? Don't rattle and don't rush. I can tell you, sometimes some of you are saying wonderful things, but because you are rattling and you are running, we don't hear anything. Take your time. In fact, sometimes you must inject some kind of drama into it. I'm not saying over drama into it so that we understand the salience of what you are talking about. Okay? And then here, use good language. We are going to mark that. Your grammar, your pronunciation, your structures, your syntax and all that. We are going to mark that. The first speaker is taking 8 marks and the second speaker is taking 5. And then summary, this time, is 2 marks. Then we move on to role as a particular debater. And as I keep on saying, the first speaker is the first speaker. He speaks powerfully. And then the second speaker is only a supporting speaker. Now let's go to the rules. The principal speaker on the affirmative team presents argument in support of the motion, and we have 10 minutes for that. The principal speaker on the opposing team presents argument opposing the resolution. Again, we have 10 minutes for that. The second speaker on the affirmative team presents further argument in support of the resolution, identifies areas of conflict, and answers questions that may have been raised by the opposition speaker. This time, 7 minutes. The second speaker on the opposing team presents further arguments against the resolution, identifies areas of conflict, and answers questions that may have been raised by the previous affirmative speaker. Again, 7 minutes for that. Then the principal speaker on the affirmative team comes with closing statement to their argument without adding any new information, and also uses the opportunity to respond to rebuttals if necessary. This time round, 5 minutes. Then the principal speaker on the opposing team comes with their closing statement to their arguments, once again, without adding any new information, and also uses the opportunity to respond to rebuttals if necessary. This is 5 minutes. The speaker must be very audible. Now, listen to me. There cannot be any interruption when one speaker is talking. You must wait for your turn till you speak. Then the principal speaker raises 5 points. And then the supporting speaker raises 3 points. Now, this is the deal. You introduce a point, 1 mark. Explain, 1 mark. Support it, another mark. Now, if you are supporting, make sure your materials are relevant. If the materials are not relevant, you won't get the mark for them. Take note of that. So, we come to the other rules. He who asserts, oh, you are old in the business, you know what to say. Must prove, right? He who asserts, good. And in order to establish an assertion, the team must support that assertion with enough facts and evidence. Facts and evidence must be accurate. In fact, with time, we will talk about what we consider to be facts and what we consider to be evidence. Examples of visual materials are permissible. And once introduced, they become available for the opponent's use if so desired. Remember that tangible evidence must be tendered as exhibits to support facts. And then, in rebuttals, the debater rebutting may ask any constructive and clear question that has a direct bearing on the topic. The one rebutting must confine him or herself to questions and not to make statements, comments, or ask any rhetorical question. Supporters from both sides are to exercise discipline, not to induce, frustrate, or intimidate your opponent. If you do any of such thing, marks will be deducted from your grand total. Listen to this carefully. Debaters must respect time. When you are bailed out, you go and sit down quietly. You don't continue. And you see, in the events of a tie, the two schools will be invited and then given a motion to debate within 24 hours. Take note of this. The score of one judge cannot overturn that of two judges. That is why we have a majority decision from the judges, meaning 2 judges out of the 3 score for a school. And we also have unanimous decision, meaning all 3 judges score for the school. Now, if you have any problem, you see the fine gentleman here, yes, he's looking at me. Wonderful. Look at him. Direct all your problems to him, and he will solve them for you. Reporting time of the contest is 12:30. Now, let me say that if you fail to come here by 12:30, you are ruled out, you are disqualified, and we mean it. So please, all the contesting schools, make sure that you respect time. And with that, I'm done.
Uncle P, your materials are still here. P, your materials are still here. Thank you. Oh, you can do better with the applause. Thank you. Thank you so much. I just want to reiterate 2 things that he talked about, the reporting time. And I'm saying this because some schools nearly got disqualified last week. We have given you time to report for this event, for this contest. Please respect the time accordingly. Aside from that, he also mentioned that the debaters need to respect time. So whilst you're debating, we know that you cannot be watching your watches or checking the time. So we've taken it upon ourselves to get for you an accurate timekeeper. His name is Kelvin. Say hi to Kelvin. Say hi, Kelvin. All right, so for the principal speakers, if you have 3 minutes to go on your time, you know the principal speakers have 10 minutes. We have 3 more minutes on your time. This is what you'll hear. For the principal speakers, if your time is entirely up, you would hear this. And that is why the lead judge says, when you hear that sound, you stop debating. For the supporting speakers, you've got 7 minutes. Now, when you have 2 minutes to go on your time, 2 minutes to go on your time, you'll again hear this. When your time is entirely up, he will do this for you. Then when you come back for the summaries, you have 5 minutes. When you have 2 more minutes to go on your time, you hear this. And when your time is entirely up again, you hear this. Thank you very much, accurate timekeeper. The motion on board for the debaters is Ghana should consider a Chinese-style elite system for choosing its president instead of popular elections. KNUST Senior High, they are for the motion. Afigyaman Senior High School are against the motion. Imagine Nyansapo. Please stand on your feet. It's good to have you. You are amongst the senior schools from last year. Some setting, you know the drill already. This time around, we don't have Uncle Collins with us. He's back at the station. But we have Uncle Francis here with us. Now, Francis's job is to play your school anthem for you. Your job is just to sing along. Are you ready? Oh, come on, I can hear you. Are you ready? Are you sure you're ready? Then let's do this on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Sing voices joy, say that it's before us, not alone behind. There's a very spirit at our army's head, for dream of shrinking. By Jehovah led, forward through the desert, through mountains and floods, Jordan flows before us, Zion beats with us. Jordan flows before us,
and please put your hands together for yourselves. And those were students from KNUST Senior High School. They just sang for us the school anthem. Listen, if you don't mind, why don't you clap your hands and make some noise as we welcome your debaters. And they are Owusu, Seche, Echa, and Estina, supported by Abugu, Mambo, Augustina. Walking to take their seats, holding their hands. Thank you very much. Let me go to the opposing side, the opposing school. And that, of course, is Afigyaman Senior High School. Great Ifi School. Great Ifi School. Great Ifi School. You can form also original honum. Now you also be singing for us the school anthem. Same style, same drill as Francis did for KNUST Senior High. He will play your school anthem for you. All you have to do is to sing. Do you know how to sing your school anthem? You sure you do know how to sing your school anthem? Are you ready to sing it? Then on 3, let's do this. 1, 2, go.
Let us fall, we rise with might, guiding our path, shining so bright. United we stand, in knowledge we thrive, our spirit strong forever we strive. In this school we find our call. To lead the way we stand tall, with hearts aflame, we never fall. Great of His school, leaders of all, we need joy.
anthem well sung by students of Afigyaman. I don't know whether it was me alone. If you're listening to us on radio, watching us on, TikTok, on Facebook or YouTube, or watching us on television on Joy Prime or Joy Learning, it sounded like some Christmas carol. It was so soothing. Please put your hands together for yourselves one more time. And let's welcome your debaters. Ishira Amasewa is the principal speaker. Ivy Donko is the supporting speaker. It's going to be a ladies' affair, huh? All ladies' affair. Now, both schools are a mixed school. The gentlemen, the boys, Charlie, what's up? What's up? Next year, let's have some of the boys represent the school, okay? The boys in the auditorium representing the two schools. Next year, please, let's see you, okay? Thank you very much. All right, so for those of you who just joined us, the motion is Ghana should consider a Chinese-style elite system for choosing its president instead of the popular elections. Now, KNUST Senior High School, they are for the motion. And of course, Afigyaman Senior High School, they are against the motion. Madam Chairperson, can we begin the debate? She's given her blessing. Judges, are you ready? They say they are. Accurate timekeeper, are you ready? He says he is. So those of you watching us on television, Joy Prime, Joy Learning, please don't be selfish. Don't watch us alone. Call a friend or a colleague, send a message to him or her and tell the person that the first contest in the round of 16 at the 2026 Love FM Kel Choco Toothpaste High School debate is just about to begin. Let me go to KNUST Senior High School and invite and welcome their principal speaker, Owusu Seche, Echa and Estina. Please show some love.
The chair, impartial panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, co-debaters, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen, good day. Representing the land of Majima, KNUST Senior High School, I am Owusu Seche, Echa and Nestina. The principal speaker, in full affirmation of the motion on board, which I quote, Ghana should adopt China's system of elites choosing the president instead of popular votes, unquote. Madam Chair, for a better and clearer argument, please permit me to explain the key terms used in the motion. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, adopt means to begin to practice or use something such as an approach or manner. Cambridge Dictionary defines elites as the richest, most powerful, best educated, and best trained group in a society. President is defined by Collins Dictionary as a leader or head of an organization, company, college, or country. Popular votes is defined by Cambridge Dictionary as an act of voting by all the people in a country or an area. Ladies and gentlemen, the motion in simple terms is trying to tell us that China's system of governance, where the best of the best are made to elect their president, is something Ghana should embrace, rather than our current system where anybody, including even the dafts, has the power to decide who becomes the president of this country. The chair, before I even dive into my cogent points, let's have a teaser of what is happening in the world of popular votes.
We have to collect money so that we will vote for the person. So we are waiting for the money before we will vote.
7 million presidential, 10 million.
We have to.
My opponents, this is what we get when we give our destinies into the hands of ignorant citizens. With this, the chair, I proceed with my first point. China's system of elites choosing the president helps to select the most competent individuals with the skills and expertise that can turn economies around and produce the best of results to their citizens. The chair, with China's system, officials advance and get elected based on track performance benchmarks, including local economic growth and poverty alleviation metrics during their early careers. The House juxtaposes this with what is happening in Ghana, and you will be shocked with the caliber of leaders who are elected to lead this noble nation. No wonder we have parliamentarians who chew ballot papers and fight with a nail in parliament. The House, what a shame. Respected judges, as we speak, China's GDP is 20.7 trillion. Yet Ghana is nowhere to be found among the top 50 performing economies in the world. The chair, as the president of China is leading his people to build skyscrapers and do the unimaginable, our president will be here commissioning public toilets, something that can be left in the hands of assemblymen and unit committee members.
Yebesi toilets, amamu. Yebesi toilets. In all, Yebesi 8-unit toilets, 4 8-unit toilets, 32 toilets in all.
This year I won't talk much. With this, I proceed with my second point. With China's system of elites choosing the president, there is high degree of political stability, an ingredient that is a catalyst for national development and economic growth. The House contrasts this with Ghana's state of governance. Once a president is elected, the next day he will be thinking of how to win the next election. No wonder our current president has approved the Constitutional Committee's report that extends presidential term from 4 years to 5 years. Ladies and gentlemen, the worst of this state of instability is when there is a change of government. The system becomes so chaotic to the extent that nobody perceives to be on the opposing side. Ladies and gentlemen, let's pay attention to this video.
And we are saying that one new KNU law, it is all the CEOs across the HRs. Now, I'm employ MPP for no come and cough. The Baba Pamuna,
Ladies and gentlemen, in the face of all this, how can we develop? A change of government brings the country to its needs, and nothing works without unnecessary politicization. Ladies and gentlemen, can this thing ever happen in China? My opponents, can you provide evidence of where insanity of this state occurred in China? Or can you provide a burden of evidence where government business was discontinued because there was new law? For your information, the motion says we should adopt China's system, and indeed we should, because that is the way to go. Your alternative is scary and must be rejected. The chair, our third point in support of our stance is that China's system of elites choosing the president ensures long-term strategic planning. Ladies and gentlemen, Chinese leaders can engage in multi-decade infrastructure, economic and technological strategies without disruptions from short election cycles. My opponents, can we say same for Ghana? Currently, as we speak, evidence I have shows that China is on its 15th 5-year plan to guarantee steady long-term advancement of Chinese modernization. My opponents, where is Ghana's? If we had my schools get fund abandoned projects, we will not be sitting there for over 2 decades. A disaster that is waiting. Yet any successful government comes to my school with a promise that never sees the light of day. The chair, who is even planning for this country? Is there any plan at all? Successive governments sometimes engage in unnecessary and needless projects. Ad hoc and knee-jerk reactions are their trump cards. But the House, to some extent, I don't blame them. Which governments will engage in long-term strategic plans if they know that the next minute they can be voted out of power? Certainly, they will engage in impressionistic projects so that they can gain votes the next time. The chair of the House, my fourth point in support of our stance is that the Chinese system ensures meritocracy. The chair, China's system promotes leaders through merit-based multi-tier system managed by the Chinese Communist Party. The chair of the House, officials rise through a strict hierarchy by meeting economic and developmental key performance indicators, passing evaluations, and gaining multi-level government experience before reaching top national posts. For example, the current president, Xi Jinping, rose to power through a decades-long career in the Chinese Communist Party, steady regional promotions, and backing from party elders. He secured a role of General Secretary in 2012 and President in 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, for the record, elites vote to elect their president while making sure that no vote is wasted and that their vote brings the best and not just anybody who goes around to share rice to gain votes. The chair of the House, point 5. With China's system of elites choosing the president, there is faster execution of decisions and policies. Ladies and gentlemen, policies roll out nationwide without legislative gridlock, partisan politics, and parliamentary paralysis. The chair of the House, it is sad to say that the only time we see our parliamentarians united for a common cause is when they are dealing with matters protest concerning their selfish interests. For example, ex gratia and other monuments. When you hear a united then you see that their salary has been increased by 70% and their electorate 5%. Ladies and gentlemen, our current state of affairs is a disaster. Developmental agendas in this country is seen with political lenses. As at now, we don't even know a political party that sees galamsey to be bad, yet it is killing us. Mercury and cyanide are destroying many fetuses, yet our political elites are fighting over whose is bad and whose is worse. The chair, the house. Chinese system where elites choose their president presents an alternative which is far better and more valuable, hence should be emulated. The house, my opponents may argue that the system doesn't hold leaders accountable. If indeed popular votes hold leaders accountable to the state, then why don't we vote for MMDCs? Why don't we vote for our chief justices? Why don't we vote for our speakers of parliament? Are they accountable to only the president or they are accountable to the state? I'll be expecting an answer from you. Also, my opponents may say that the system encourages corruption. That is a hasty conclusion. We all know that corruption is the backbone of failing economies. If this system truly encourages corruption, then why is Chinese economy doing far better than Ghana? The chair, the house, my opponents might also say that the system frowns upon the rule of law. This is a classic case of short thinking. Rule of law means equality before the law. By allowing elites to vote for the president doesn't deny the rights of the citizens. There are many instances in Ghana where even the rights of the citizens have been denied. How many times does the government listen to us in their decision-making processes? The chair, my opponents might also say that the system encourages abuse of power. That is not true. Once you are elected in China, they make sure that you are accountable to the state. That is the reason why they were able to punish 69 officials who engage in corruption. The house, my supporting speaker, will elaborate more on that. With this, I rest my case.
KNUST Senior High School. I thought you were Majunimba, but I am so disappointed with you because if lack of education is used as a reason to exclude citizens from choosing their president, then the real answer is not to silence them, but to educate them. The opponents may argue that the people are influenced by their emotions, but we must remember the elite are also human beings. They can be influenced by ambition, personal loyalty, political influence, and self-interest. Therefore, we must not abandon popular voting just because the ordinary citizens are not perfect. We must. Democracy does not require perfect voters, but it requires an accountable system that gives citizens the power to choose, question, and correct mistakes for the chair. The real issue is not are the voters perfect, but the real issue is who ultimately choose the leaders for the people. And I believe that is the people themselves. To you, the ever-wise chair, impartial judges, accurate timekeeper, Chinese opponents, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I, Ishra Ama Sewa Ous, from Great Afigyaman Senior High School, on the land of comforters, Edikanfo, rise as the principal speaker to speak against the motion, and I quote, Ghana should adopt Chinese elite system, choosing the president instead of popular voting. The chair permits me to define the key terms for better clarity. Adopt means to legally take someone's own, or to choose and follow a new plan, idea, or habit. Election is a formal process where people vote to choose leaders or make public decisions. Elite refers to a small, powerful group of people who have most wealth, skills, status, and authority in the society. The chair adjudicators permit me to ask our Chinese opponents a question. Ghana is for who? The people, a group of people. That brings me to my point one, the chair. Popular vote provides direct accountability. The chair, who has the strongest reason to listen to ordinary people's demands? The chair, a president who knows that millions of people can vote him out of power, will listen to their demands. That is the beauty of the ballot box. The ballot box will tell the politicians, millions of Ghanaians voted you because they trust you, and that same people can remove you out of power tomorrow. The chair, let us watch a video.
The people of Ghana gave me a mandate for one term, and I am working hard to meet the promises I made them. And so I always tell my ministers, I say, let's number our days so that we can work harder to meet the promises we made the Ghanaian people.
That is accountability. And our opponents want us to replace that broad mandate with elite selection, the approval of millions of Ghanaians, or the approval of just a small group of political gatekeepers. Article 64 of Ghana's constitution gives every Ghanaian right to question the validity of the presidential election at the Supreme Court for a period of time. So Ghana already has a mechanism for accountability, which is vote, to electoral commission, to declaration, to judicial challenge where it's necessary. We don't need to replace that first mechanism just because the other exists. Point 2, elite selection denies Ghanaians their constitutional rights. The chair, democracy is built on a simple principle, which is political power must come ultimately from the people. Article 42 of Ghana's constitution states that gives every Ghanaian above the age 18 and of sound mind the right to vote and register for public election and referenda. Article 63 also established a universal adult suffrage for presidential election. Therefore, if a small group of people is given a chance to choose the president instead of Ghanaians, then millions of Ghanaians have lost their right to choose the highest national political office. That is not political accounting. That is not political advancement, but political retreat. According to our constitution, it does not give political power to a group of well-educated and elite, but it gives them to the people. According to the 1992 constitution, the president is the head of state, the head of government, and the commander-in-chief of the army. Such enormous constitutional power requires a strong democratic mandate from the people. Article 63 also states that the election of the president shall be conducted on the basis of a universal adult suffrage, and a presidential candidate must obtain over 50% of the valid vote casted to win the chair of the house. Teachers have the right to vote, lawyers have the right to vote, farmers have the right to vote, and perhaps our Chinese opponents' parents have the right to vote. One citizen, one vote, one Ghana, one through the chair. Elite selection carries a dangerous concentration of political power. When a small group of people is given power to choose the president, then we must ask, who choose the choosers? Then, who holds the choosers accountable? And finally, who controls the choosers? And I'll be waiting for an answer. So do the House. The problem is not merely that the elite may have bad decisions, but the main problem is the people may not have a direct mechanism to correct the decision of the elite. A case study from China, which is Free House, reports that China's ruling Communist Party effectively monopolized political activity, and that the system provides no institutional mechanism for organized political opposition to take power nationally. That should concern Ghana, because Ghana has built a political culture where government can defeat through elections, and we should strengthen that culture, not replace it with a closed selection mechanism. Point 4, perhaps my most important point, which is Ghana's history shows a move from indirect to direct election. The chair, please permit me, as I school our Chinese opponents in the history of Ghana, from independence 1957 to the fourth republic we live in today. Ghana has tried different systems before, and its history shows something important. When Ghana gained independence on 6th March 1957, the constitution created a parliamentary system which gave executive power to only the governor general. And then came 1960, when Ghana became a republic, which came into being on 1st July 1960. Then the constitutional rule was interrupted by a military rule in 1966. Then Ghana returned to a constitutional government in 1969. The 1969 constitution established a presidential electoral college where the president was chosen through a direct selection, not a nationwide presidential election. So if our opponents suggest that the elite system is foreign to Ghana, then our history gives us a clear answer. Ghana has been there before. And what's happened? Ghana went the opposite direction. Then came our constitution, which came 1979 constitution in that 1979 constitution. Point 5. The chair, this is perhaps our most important point, because in January 2026, these three prominent Ghanaians, Professor Kwabena Frimpong-Boateng, Dr. Nyahu Tamaklo, and Dr. Christine Amakun-Nyama, went to the Supreme Court challenging the delegate or electoral college system used by Ghanaian political parties to select presidential candidates. They argued that restricting the vote to A limited group of delegates exclude original party members from meaningful participation. Not only them, in May 2026, on my Joy Online News, the Attorney General supported the one member, one vote argument. The chair, even some elites in the country support the popular voting. So what are we here for? To listen to our Chinese opponents who have gone to brainstorm things and all. To listen to our Chinese opponent who has gone to brainstorm things online just for a debate. The proposition has correctly identified the political system has weakness, but they have proposed the wrong cure. If there is voters' apathy, encourage voters' participation, misinformation, improve civic education, electoral dispute, strengthen electoral institution. But do not conclude because democracy has problem, therefore the people should no longer choose their president. That is like saying because hospital makes mistakes, we should abolish doctors. No, we correct their illness. Now rebuttal. Our opponents may argue that at least election produce better leaders. Hey, we challenge them. Where is the guarantee? And I will be waiting for an answer also. Conclusion, the chair. Ladies and gentlemen, the motion has garnered to exchange popular sovereignty for elite sovereignty. We reject that exchange because China's system is designed for only China's political structure. But Ghana's constitution, democracy built on a universal order suffrage. Our people have a voice. Our people have to vote. Our people have a constitutional right to choose. If the house has a crack, repair the house. Don't demolish it because someone claims some house is better than yours. We therefore oppose the Bolshevik state. Quote, Ghana should adopt China's system of the elite, choosing president, not popular voting. Thank you.
The ever-wise chair, panel of adjudicators, man of the pendulum, co-debaters, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen, good day. Rising from the land of Majima, KNUST SHS, I am Abugri Augustina Marble, the supporting speaker, speaking in favor of the resolution, quotes and unquotes. Ghana should adopt China's system of elites choosing the president instead of popular votes. The chair, the house, as my attention-calling principal speaker, has already laid the foundations for the argument. Permit me to concur with my salient points. The chair, the house, point 6. The Chinese system, where elites choose their president, ensures that there is effective mechanism to fight corruption. This system gives no room for mediocrity or all forms of corruption. One must earn what they want without having to cut corners. Their system sees a crime as a crime and criminals are punished without alibi. The chair, permit me to provide 2 instances to back my claims. 1. China punishes 69 officials for corruption last year. And the big one, China sentences officials to death for taking $325 million in bribes. My opponents, you are shocked, right? Yes, this is the system we need in Ghana. But let's contrast this with your so-called popular vote system. From GhanaWeb.com, and I quote, high-profile cases Mohammed AG has dropped. First, it was Ofosu Ampofo, the former NDC chairman, then Atu Forson, then finance minister, and many more. Now, the chair, when we compare these 2 systems, which one fights corruption and which one promotes it? My opponents will be waiting for an answer. The chair, the house, point 7. Ghana's current system of choosing their leaders promotes political clientelism and unnecessary monetization, which destroys our political bodies. The chair, this cannot be the case for the Chinese system of choosing their presidents when the elites are made to choose their presidents. For instance, if Dr. Arthur and our panel of judges are given the privilege to select the president, my opponents tell me, who would dare present them with bensua, bags of rice, butter, or kraba? Isn't this an insult? But the chair, let's think about this. The poor, uninformed drunkard having the same power as elites of this society. What kind of decisions do we expect? Well, the result is what we see today. The chair, the house, let's watch this video.
Okay, you're very beautiful. When you grow up, I'll marry you. She's my wife.
Behold, the popular vote system. The chair, let's forget the fact that this is the debate. This Chinese system is the way forward. Dr. Arthur, Madam Chair, Love FM. Why didn't we go popular vote strategy to select the winners of each contest, including ours? Why did Love FM go as far as selecting the creme de la creme, the best of judges for the Love FM high school debates? The answer is exactly what the Chinese are thinking. And this is why my principal speaker and I strongly accept the motion. The chair, the House, point 8. The Chinese system ensures that there is reduced cost of election. The chair, our electoral process are so cumbersome that one gets completely drained before becoming the president. Just imagine this survey from cddghana.com, and I quote, presidential candidates need $100 million to win elections in Ghana, unquote. The chair, this is minus the huge sums of money dedicated to run elections in Ghana. From GhanaWeb.com, and I quote, Parliament approved $786.9 million budget to run 2024 elections, unquote. The chair, if a president must spend $100 million before attaining power, just imagine the implications. He or she comes into power highly indebted with many clients to satisfy. Sponsors, party apparatchiks, galamsey kingpins, godfathers and godmothers. Now my opponents, if it were you, what would you do? No wonder when there is a change of government, people have the impudence to lock offices, sack officials, and even determine who is the minister or CEO of state companies. In some cases, many party sponsors determines who takes which position and which office. The chair, this is what my opponent's so-called popular vote system brings on board. And if we don't reject it and accept the Chinese way, we might as well forget about nation building. The chair, the House, rebuttals. My opponents, people are not influenced by emotions during elections. They are influenced by rice and bentua. Popular votes provides direct accountability. This is overgeneralization. The ballot box promotes accountability, but strong institutions and transparency are also necessary. Popular votes gives power to the people. Another overgeneralization. Popular votes gives power to the president to appoint and fire any minister of state or official of his choice. This is as blindly giving power to one man. My opponents claim that our system is a representation for all. If this is truly a representation, why were spoiled ballot papers placed as third force in the 2024 general elections? Even the people don't know what they want. My opponents, you spoke about educating them on how to vote. How many TV adverts do you see about elections during these periods? Uncountable. My opponents, so what education do you want? Rice education? The chair, the House, I bow.
Distinguished panel of educators, imagine waking up one morning and discovering that the person who will determine the direction of your life for the next 4 to 8 years has already been selected without giving you the opportunity to have a say. The chair panel of judges, accurate timekeepers, respected teachers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Oh, sorry, my Chinese opponent, Ni Hao, representing Afigyaman Senior High School. My name is Ivy Donko. I rise as the second speaker to speak against the motion, quote and unquote, Ghana should adopt China's system of elites choosing the president instead of popular votes. The chair, my first speaker has established that the motion is fundamentally about who should possess political sovereignty in Ghana. Therefore, I will also give 3 reasons why Ghana should reject this proposal. Point 6, the chair, the elect selection can produce a president who lacks a direct popular mandate. The chair, legitimacy matters. Imagine a president sitting in the Jubilee House and a Ghanaian citizen will ask, who gave you the authority to govern me? The chair, under Ghana's current system, the president can point to the ballot box. Millions of citizens participated. That creates a direct democratic connection between the president and the people. Imagine, under the elect selection system, immediately the president's immediate political mandates come from the people who selected him or her, not directly from the elite group. Hey, the chair, let's watch this video, the chair and judges.
The people of Ghana gave me a mandate for 1 term, and I am working hard to meet the promises I made them. And so I always tell my ministers, I say, let's number our days so that we can work harder to meet the promises we made the Ghanaian people.
We all
heard from our president, the good people of Ghana voted for. The chair, international IDEA says that a president with significant governing power needs a democratic mandate and legitimacy with a direct popular election being the norm. The chair, the 1992 constitution identified the president as the head of state, the head of government, and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. The chair, my opponents may argue, but the elects represent the people. Our response is, representation is not the same as substitution. Okay, if the elects represent the people, then why should the people lose the final votes? The chair, parliamentarians can represent citizens in parliament. Political leaders can nominate candidates. Traditional leaders can represent communities. Elects can advise the government. But the final choice should remain with the people. Point 7, the chair. Ghana already has institutions that bring elite experience into governance. The chair, if the motion concern is that the ordinary citizens lack the experience to choose a president, then the chair, Ghana Constitution has already provided an answer. Article 81, Clause 1 of the 1992 Constitution states, there shall be a Council of State to counsel the president in the performance of his functions. The chair, it is composed of people with significant experience and representation. The chair, they are not farmers. Those people include a former Chief Justice, a former Chief of Defense Staff, a former Inspector General of Police, the President of the National House of Chiefs, one elected representative from each region, and 11 other members appointed by the President. The chair, this means that Ghana does not have to sacrifice popular sovereignty in order to benefit from the experience. Let the people choose the President, and let experienced statesmen advise the President. The chair, after all, Ghana, an advisor may counsel the president, but the advisor does not need to be the electorate. The chair, therefore, the existence of this Council of State itself undermines the motion's argument that Ghana must replace popular voting with elect selection. This simply because the elect possesses experience. The chair, point 8, the chair. China's system does not give us the democratic model. The chair, the motions want us to copy China, but before copying a system, put it in mind, ask yourself, what exactly are you copying from? The chair, China's constitution states that the president is elected by the National People's Congress. The chair, can you imagine? China's political system states that there are no direct and competitive national executive elections. According to them, the National People's Congress elected the president, but the Chinese Communist Party awarded Xi Jinping as a third term as president in 2023. So my opponent, are you asking Ghana to copy the former constitutional procedures or the political reality behind this? Chair, my Chinese opponents, I'm very, very disappointed in you. How would you be in Ghana and cherish China's system? Oh, how would you be? How would that be? How will you be in Ghana and cherishing China's system? Oh, even the former Prime Minister of China, Wen, said China needs political reforms to revert. China needs political reforms to revert. The chair, my first speaker demonstrated that elect selection threatens popular sovereignty. Let us improve Ghana's democracy. Let us improve civic education. But let us never tell Ghanaian people, you are good enough to be governed, but you are not good enough to choose your governor. The people are not spectators in democracy, but the people are the owners of political power. For this reason, we firmly oppose the motion. Thank you.
The chair, adjudication panel, all other protocols duly observed. My second coming here is not to talk much, but to give a summary of the cogent points my supporting speaker and I raised, and after that, debunk all the fallacious assertions made by my opponents. We argued that 1. China's system of elites choosing the president helps to select competent individuals who have the skills and expertise needed to turn economies around and bring the best of results to the citizens. Point 2, with China's system of elites choosing the president, there is high degree of political stability. 3, China's system of elites choosing the president ensures long-term strategic planning. Point 4, China's system of elites choosing the president ensures meritocracy. Point 5, China's system of elites choosing the president ensures that there's effective mechanisms to fight corruption. Point 7, Ghana's current system of choosing their leaders promotes political clientelism and unnecessary monetization. Point 8, and finally, China's system where elites choose the president ensures there is reduced cost on elections. Let's check the House rebuttals. I'll begin with the question that my opponent asked us. She said that how could I be in Ghana and cherish China's system of governance? I also ask you, why would you be in Ghana and watch C-drama? Why would you be in Ghana and prefer noodles to ampesi? Why would you be in Ghana and don't wear a henema and kente to school? I'll be expecting an answer. Let's share the House. My opponent said that the system of governance denies citizens' constitutional rights. If every law in the constitution is perfect, then why the need for an amendment? If there is a law in the constitution and it's not helping us, there is a room for us to amend the constitution. Also, my opponent said that the majority decision is the way to go. This is an appeal to popularity. If 70% of people support an unqualified candidate, the candidate does not magically become qualified because of the percentage. Majority support can determine popularity, but it cannot manufacture competence. The chairman opponent said, and I quote, Ghana's history moves from indirect election to direct election. If direct election was adopted, then why don't we adopt another system that is going to help our own country? The House, my opponent also said that we shouldn't copy China's system. This is a genetic fallacy. Ghana does not need to copy China's entire political system. That's not what we are trying to say. We are debating whether elements of an elite selected model could improve presidential election. Besides, if democracy was learnt from another country, then what stops us from learning this new method? With this, the House, I rest my case.
The chair of the House. My second coming here is not to throw dust in your eyes, but to summarize the good points raised by my second speaker and I. We asserted that 1, Ghana's history shows a move from indirect to direct election. 2, elite selection denies Ghanaians their constitutional rights. 3, elite selection creates a dangerous concentration of political power. 4, popular vote provides direct accountability. 5, Ghana should reform popular democracy, not replace it. Elite selection can provide a president who lacks a direct popular mandate. Elite selection can silence minority and ordinary communities. And 8, Ghana's Chinese product can not simply be imported into Ghana. Now, to my favorite part and a surprise package I have for the House that will make our Chinese opponents even assert that we have won this debate. The chair, our opponents admire a system where a small political elite chooses the president. But let us ask a simple question. When the people disagree with the elite, what avenue do they have? What agree do they have? China itself has shown us a great danger. In 1989, Chinese students marched demanding reform and accountability, and that demonstration ended in a deadly military crackdown. The chair, in 2022, young Chinese citizens again took the streets and many protesters were detained. Impartial judges, election is not about voting every 4 years. It's about giving every ordinary citizen a freedom to express their dissatisfaction when those in authority make decisions that affect them. We saw what happened in KNUST Senior High School in 2020, reported by Joy Online News, where students demonstrate against the action of their school authorities following the death of their colleague. May his soul rest in the bosom of Abraham. Let us watch something on the their protesters brought attention to their concerns and eventually led to the administration action by the Ghanaian Education Service. If citizens can collectively demand accountability from authorities, why should ordinary Ghanaians be denied their right to choose and question people who govern them? The chair, the students smashed cars and damaged properties, yet they were not punished. Oh, how I wish this happened in China. The chair, even Ghana's history shows that Ghana has had 34 years of transition of election. they share the house. We have seen it ourselves that our Chinese opponents are even with us, but they fear to announce it publicly because thinking it will turn them to children who does no reason. Thank you.
All right, so so when they were about to begin the debate, when they mounted the podium, I realized that the Chinese opponents went to, I don't know how to refer to them though, and shook hands with them. Listen, all of you in this auditorium, if you're a student, stand on your feet. If you're a student, stand. All the students in this auditorium, please stand for me. And show some love. Oh, you sit down. We want to celebrate you. So you sit down. Put your hands together for these amazing students. All right. Sit down. And Madam Chairperson, tomorrow before I come here, I'll eat PC and wear traditional sandals. I can see my Chinese colleagues in the auditorium as well.
Ni hao.
Chinese Becca and Chinese Patricia. But before you guys take over, we'd like to say thank you very much to all our audiences out there on television and on radio. To television, Joy Prime, Joy Learning, we hope that this contest was really, really insightful and educational to you as well. To all of you listening to us on radio, watching us on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok, we say thank you very much. That was contest 1, the round of 16's contest at the 2026 edition of the Love FM Kale Charcoal Toothpaste High Schools debate. Now, the motion was Ghana should consider a Chinese-style elite system for choosing its president instead of popular elections. Chinese colleague Becca.
Ni hao.
Take it away, Becca.
All right, first of all, we'd like to say a very big thank you to all of our sponsors. A round of applause for all of our sponsors. A round of applause. Samara Company Limited, thank you so much. But we would like to say a big thank you also to Best Brain Publications Limited. Every child with a good future depends on the foundation laid by their parents. Are you a school looking to get books for your pupils, and are you a parent that needs books for your wards? Best Brain Publications Limited has been approved by the National Council of Curriculum and Assessment, NACA, and the Ministry of Education to supply books to basic schools nationwide. Best Brain Publication has books on all subjects ranging from crèche, nursery, KG, primary, and you can call them now for the following books: English language, science, mathematics, computing, Our World, Our People, and many more. We are located at Pankrono here in Kumasi and all bookstores across the country. Best Brain Publications, securing tomorrow's academic well-being today.
Let's also say thank you going out to Amasia Community Bank PLC, and since 1983, Amasia Community Bank PLC has been serving individuals, institutions, businesses, government and private sector workers, and so much more with convenient, safe banking solutions. Now we operate every kind of account and serve you with the most flexible interest rate loans. Enjoy our digital banking services today by dialing *992# and also visit our newest branch at Manso Kenyago and the headquarters at Antwerp. Find other branches at Mason Kwanta, Manso Dubia, Manso Datano, Bekwai, Anyang Kwanta, Akro Kerry, Roman Hill, Asim, Ahojo, Atinka Junction, Santase, and also Sofoline. Amasia Community Bank PLC, your reliable financial partner.
We also say thank you to JM Ado and Sons for bringing us Oneplex 400. Worms are dangerous to human life and growth. Therefore, use Oneplex 400 today to kill them and set yourself free. One tablet of Oneplex 400 kills all types of worms and worm eggs in our body. Oneplex can be taken at any time of the day, not just at night. It's good for children above 1 year. Oneplex 400 is sweet to chew and swallow. For enquiries, contact JM Ado and Sons.
Now for your wedding, engagement, and promissory rings, yes, if you're watching us on TV and you think you are ready, you found the right one, visit St. Ben's Jewelry today for quality, elegant, affordable white gold, yellow gold, rose gold, and silver rings. Now get your earrings, bracelets, watches, and all your accessories at St. Ben's Jewelry. We also polish your old ornaments and and offers special flexible payment plans. Locate us at Amakom right opposite the Edward Nazar building, and also in Edum, find us in the Chelsea House right opposite Standard Chartered Bank. St. Ben's Jewelry, just dream it and it will be done.
Write effortlessly with Seppo Mystical Original Pen. Enjoy smooth, precise, smudge-free lines every time you write. Whether it's a script you're writing, poetry, or a love letter to that loved one, use Seppo Mystical Pens today. Get yours in blue, black, or red. Locate Seppo products at Paul Sego Lane here in Kumasi and Okaishi, Accra for bulk purchases. Seppo Mystical Original Pen, your number one choice for premium writing.
Now, teachers and parents who have actually always been worrying about your students' BEC results, please, it is time for you to say no to all those worries, because TAMA questions and answers textbooks are here. Prepare your words smarter with them today, and remember that it is packed with current BEC past questions, answers, marking schemes, exam tips, and strategies for all major subjects. TAMA questions and answers textbooks help boost the confidence level of every student preparing for the BECE. Locate TAMAC in Kumasi and Accra.
Otua Second Community Bank is also here. We say a very big thank you, and they have the right accounts just for you. They have current, savings, fixed deposits, Susu, and infant savings accounts just for you. Enjoy affordable salary, Susu, business, funeral, group loans, and more at very low interest rates. We also offer Western Union, eSwitch, iTrans, mobile money, and Ghana Pay services. Locate Otua Second Community Bank at Kofiase, Mampong, Ejira, Seppo Bokrum, Abofo, Makro, in King Kenso, Swami Market, and Dr. Mensa. Otua Second Community Bank, your savior in community banking.
Now, when you get the money, of course, you need to also think of traveling. And so if you want to travel, then you should be thinking of the Sea Travels today. Stop watching travel videos and start living in them. Experience the wild beauty of Kenya and the glamour of Dubai from September 10th to 16th, 2026, or join our China Canton Fair Business Expedition from October 26th to November 9, 2026. Now, the Sea Travels will handle your flight, your hotel reservation, your breakfast, your visa support, your airport transfers or transport, tours, and tourism tax, all stress-free. Visit the Sea Travels today at Anhojo Atinga Junction, right opposite the DHL office.
Now, we also say thank you to New Generation Investment Services. We offer managed investments and also assist with pension planning and manage Tier 2 and Tier 3 pensions. Secure your future with our Nedasol Mutual Fund, NGI's Money Market Fund, and private funds. Speak to any of our seasoned advisors today about your investment goals and aspirations. NGIS is licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission and the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. NGIS, achieving excellent returns on your investments.
Now, as a parent, I know you definitely want more than a child who can pass examinations. You want a child who is responsible, confident, knowledgeable, and also grounded in godly values. And that is what we offer to you at Broadview Christian Academy. We exist to help parents raise godly and responsible students. We believe that godly character is the foundation for excellence and also success, and that is why we carefully choose teaching and learning materials designed with a child in mind, with also materials that broadens their knowledge and helps them understand concepts at their level. Now, we also offer modern ICT labs with 24/7 internet service, an ultra-modern library, well-designed and ventilated classrooms with more small class sizes, and of course a music department and a peaceful learning experience. Of course, when you come to the Broadview Christian Academy, we are considerate with our fees. Yes, we also have a payment plan for you, and quality education is definitely more accessible and assured for you. Please give your child the education that develops both brain, character, and confidence. Locate us off the Kote Road, right directly opposite the KNUST Business School Gate, and we are actually open for admissions now. You can call 0244-638-299. Broadview Christian Academy, where godly character meets academic excellence.
Now, everywhere make hot, but still man for enjoy. For your parties, funerals, family day outs, and any social gathering, grab your favorite Bigo drink today. Bigo comes in cola, grape, coconut, orange, pineapple, apple, lemon, and cocktail flavors. Get a chilled, affordable bottle of Bigo at any supermarket or even in traffic. Bigo is another quality product from Trillium Industrial Company Limited. Bigo, we say big refreshing moments.
And one other amazing product from Trillium Industrial Company Limited is Verna Mineral Water. Yes, it is nature's finest, and it's also been recommended by the Ghana Medical Association.
All right, so Frazaco also goes with Vena mineral water. So this is actually a new product in town from the heart of Ghana using carefully selected cassava. Those of you who like cassava flakes, please, this is for you. Traditionally processed and hygienically prepared, we bring to you this traditional premium gari that you can trust, and that is Rizo Gari. Everyone say Rizo Gari. Now, it is rich, it is authentic gari packaged in one easy to open resealable pack, clean and nourishing, whether served in your family, home, school or work. Also enjoyed as a quick meal. It brings authentic Ghanaian taste to your table. They are available in 1 kg, 2 kg pounces and 50 kg bags as well. Other products include Rizo Shito, Enomansa Fufu flour, cassava flour, Zimo cereal, legume mix, cassava chips and starch. You can get Rizo Gari at Adum, PZ and shops across Ghana. Contact Frazaco's Limited Company today on 0242 212 337 or 0244 462 152 for bulk purchases and for more information. But before we go, we'd like to say a very big thank you lastly to Orion Cyrus Publications. From little learners in crèche to confident scholars in primary and JHS, Orion Cyrus Publications provide books they need to succeed. Our colorful storybooks, engaging workbooks and curriculum approved textbooks make learning fun and also improve academic performance. With books in English, maths, science, history, coding, robotics and more, we help children learn, grow and excel. We can find Orion Cyrus Publications nationwide. Patricia?
Okay, so Kel Chocolate Toothpaste.
Happy smile.
I see your Kel. Can you wave it? Kel Chocolate Toothpaste.
Happy smile.
And as always, we'll be coming very soon with some gifts from Samara Company Limited for you. So please learn everything well about Kel Chocolate Toothpaste. And we'd like to say good afternoon going out to you, Dr. Daniel Saba of Daxa Dental. In fact, Becca, when you go there and the man treats your teeth and everything for you, he will recommend Kel Chocolate Toothpaste for you.
That's
So
right.
please, can we all clap for Dr. Saba? Kel Chocolate Toothpaste.
Happy smile.
All right, David.
To my Chinese colleagues, Sheshe. Please put your hands together for Becca and Patricia. Let me also share these very important messages with you. To start with, Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. They are our title sponsor for the 2026 edition of the Love FM High Schools debate. Now, Kel Charcoal Toothpaste has been formulated and produced under strict hygienic conditions with all the necessary protocols and approved by the FDA. That the constant use, and I repeat, the constant use of Kel Charcoal Toothpaste gives you fresh breath, whitens your teeth, reduces dental plaques, prevents cavity and makes gum healthy and strong. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste is recommended for adults and children from age 6. Get a pack at your local supermarket today. Now, it's another quality product from Samara Company Limited. Please call them on 0246 864 798 or 050 145 4462. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Happy smile. Christian Service University, good afternoon to all the staff and students of this beautiful university. Then they are admitting students for the 2026-2027 academic year. Now, for over 50 years, Christian Service University has been training ethical and visionary leaders who are making a difference in Ghana and beyond. Apply now for their undergraduate and postgraduate programs, including the flagship Doctor of Ministry in Christian Leadership and Management. Gain holistic education grounded in Christian values with opportunities in scholarships, entrepreneurship, and employability for a better future. You can find Christian Service University at Star Junction, Santasi. You can also log on to www.csuc.edu.gh. CSU, the University of Choice. Jackson University College is also a proud sponsor. Now, they offer master's programs in English and Maths, education, guidance and counseling, and educational leadership and administration. Now, they also offer bachelor, post-diploma, and postgraduate programs in education. You can sign up for their short IT courses in digital marketing, software engineering, cybersecurity, web development, data analytics, and more. Call Jackson University College right now on 020-126-0290. We're going to take a short break for some 5 minutes, and when we return, the second contest at the round of 16 at the 2026 edition of the Love FM High Schools debate will come your way. That contest will be between Konongo Odumase Senior High School and St. Louis Senior High School. We'll be right back.
Your radio Love 99.5 FM, back on your screen, Joy Prime, Joy Learning. This is the Love FM Kel Chaco Toothpaste High School's debate at the Christian Service University. Today is Monday, 17th August 2026, and we are seeing the second contest of the round of 16 right now. We have seen the first one go by, and the second one is going to be between St. Louis Girls Senior High School and also Konongo Odumase Senior High School. Now, their motion is quote, legalization of Okada, that is tricycles, on our roads is not helpful, unquote. We have Konongo Odumase Senior High School going to argue for the motion, and St. Louis Senior High School, a semi-finalist from last year, actually going to argue against the motion. And just like we did for the first competition, let's speak to the students and the supporters right now and see what is up their sleeve this time around. And congratulations to making it to the round of 16. What should we take from your school in 30 seconds?
Okay. So I am Watanana Frima, the General Secretary from Konongo Odumase Senior High, and I want to tell my opponents that we are much prepared and they should watch out for us.
Okay, let me see whether Louis is also prepared for Konongo Odumase. Your name, and in 30 seconds, let's hear you too.
Please, I'm Bridget Adobia Ejapon, the WDS President for St. Louis Senior High School, and we were fourth position last. We are taking it with full force. So Konongo Odumase should wait for us because we are coming with full heat and empty vessels make the most noise. So we are not going to talk much.
Well, at the end of it all, everybody's going to account for their stewardship. Let me speak to the teachers or the trainers now. What are you also telling us?
All right, I'm Enoch Inti, a WDS trainer. And as usual, we are the pace setters. So obviously, we are here to set the pace. And I believe we are coming to debate. We will not just debate, but make sure that the question on board is a sensitive thing that affects the individual life of Ghanaians. And for that, I want to also educate the people for the need as to why that be legalized.
Okay, and finally to the patron from Konongo Odumase, please also share some words with us.
Yeah, my name is Anthony Osisapon, the patron Konongo Odumase Senior High School. You know, the issue of legalization of Okada on our roads has been a national problem, and we are here to debate. And at the end of the debate, we are going to find out whether it's good, it will be helpful for us to legalize Okada on our roads. We are prepared, and we are prepared to face it ways.
Okay, so when they are done, the winners will move to the quarterfinals of this particular debate. But for now, let's say thank you to the GES, the ARSRC, and also the Conference of Affairs of Assisted Senior High Schools, and our proud title sponsor, that is Kel Chaco Toothpaste from Samara Company. Ladies and gentlemen, also remember that the hashtag remains LUVFMHSD. David, you can take
thank you very much, Patricia. And I would like to say a big thank you to our viewers on television on Joy Prime and Joy Learning. I would also like to say a very big thank you to our hosts, the Christian Service University. Don't forgetting those listening to us on radio on Love 99.5 and also on our socials on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Please put your hands together for all of them for being with us, although you are in this beautiful auditorium at the Christian Service University. In a better contest between Konongo Odumase Senior High School and St. Louis Senior High School will begin. This is the second contest at the round of 16 of the Kel Chaco Toothpaste Love FM High School's debate. We say thank you very much to all our sponsors, especially Kel Chaco Toothpaste from Samara Company Limited, to Didishato Homemade Taste, to Best Brain Publications, to the Christian Service University, to Wempex 400, to Jackson University College, to New Generation Investment Services, to Amasa Community Bank PLC, to Serpent Mescal Pen, to Bigo and Vena Mineral Water from Helium Industrial Company Limited, to Tricycle Community Bank, to Tamak Questions and Answers Textbooks, to Orion Cyrus Publications, to St. Ben Joy and the Sea Travels. Please put your hands together for all these amazing, wonderful sponsors. Well, the first contest of the day was really hot, was very, very competitive, and we're looking forward to the second contest of the day that we believe is going to be equally competitive. St. Louis. Okay, let me do a
introduce to you some very important persons amongst us this afternoon. To begin with, I'd like to mention this beautiful person's name. Her name is as beautiful as a person, Mrs. Theodosia Wilhelmina Jackson. Now, she is our chairperson and also the patron for the Love FM High School's debate. Now, she's an educationist, a youth and marriage counselor, a preacher, a mentor, and a philanthropist. Now, she's counseled the youth and students since 1978. She is a renowned marriage counselor, an educationist. As an educationist, she has over 55 years of experience both in Ghana and abroad. Now, she's a former assistant headmistress of Kumasi High School and also headmistress of KNUST Junior High School between the years 1992 to 2008. She is also a co-founder and the principal of Jackson University College, which offers a one-year postgraduate diploma in education, master's and MPhil in maths, English, guidance and counseling, educational leadership and administration, as well as B.Ed programs. Now, in partnership with NIIT India, they offer many technology programs. Her passion is to instill moral training to the youth in order to transform society. Now, she is married to Professor Ebenezer Asifua Jackson, and by the grace of the Lord God Almighty, they have 4 children. They are adults: Daniel, Emmanuel, Nora, and Ebenezer. Please show her some love. Mrs. Theodosia Wilhelmina Jackson. The contest, as we're about to witness, warrants that we have judges. So let me run you through the judges who are on duty today. Reverend Justice Bofa Pokumensa is a lecturer at the Christian Service University. He is with the Department of Communication Studies. Please, your hands together for Reverend Bofa. Also with us this afternoon is Reverend Joseph Janvible. Now, he is with the Theology Department at the Christian Service University. He has taught at that department for several years. Rev, thanks very much for joining us as well. Our lead judge is Dr. Peter Arthur. Pierrot, many refer to him as. Now, he is a senior lecturer and former head of Department of English at KNUST, former head of Department of Languages and Communication Sciences, KNUST. He is also a textual analyst. Please show him some love as well for me. Now, for those of you who have been following us ardently, you know that anytime I introduce him like this, I call on him as well to mount the podium, grab the microphone, and run us through the rules of engagement, plus how, as judges, they score. Please, with your round of applause, show some love to Dr. Peter Arthur.
Thank you, Dave. And as usual, Madam Chair, I have the permission to break it down. All right, my dear students, I'm going to give you a breakdown of the rules of engagement. We have 5 parameters: organization and clarity, argument and development, effective use of rebuttal, presentation style, role as a particular debater. Now, for organization and clarity, we expect you to raise cogent points and dispute them properly. You have to make sure that you have a good introduction, good development, and good conclusion. The first speaker is taking 15 marks for that. And then the second speaker is taking 10 marks for that. And then the summary is going for 5 marks. Arguments and development. Argue properly. Argue logically. And as I keep on saying, make sure 1 + 1 + 1 is equals to. So you don't give me 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 and then you tell me it's 3. Okay? So make sure you argue well. The first speaker is taking 15 marks for that. And then the second speaker is taking 10 marks for that. And then the summary is going for 5. Effective use of rebuttal. I've seen that they've started using the terms. Make sure you use them correctly, because in the next round, if you don't use them well, we'll punish you for that, because it's supposed to be part of the round. But I like it. Make sure that you listen attentively. And if the reasoning of your opponent is not correct, it's not enough for you to say that it's not correct. You have to point it out to us, analyze, and show to us that, yes, that reasoning is not correct. So the first speaker is taking 5 marks for that. Please, what it means is that the first speaker cannot score more than 5 marks for rebuttals. Note that. It is the duty of the second speaker to do the rebuttals. And the second speaker has 10 marks take note of that also. Then we have presentation style. We are very interested here. Speak powerfully. But speaking powerfully doesn't mean that you have to be shouting. Don't shout. And do not rush. A lot of wonderful things have been buried under the art of rushing. Sometimes you say wonderful things. Take your time and articulate them properly. And let me tell you this. If you rush, you give the impression that you have chewed and you are pouring. You get that? Sound natural. And also, don't throw the papers around. That is what some of you have started doing. You make the place dirty. Remember, we have camera on you. So make sure you finish reading, put it under it so that the place can be tidy. Your gestures, your movements, the way you engage people, the kind of language you use. Language, we're talking about pronunciation, we're talking about your grammar and all that. The first speaker is taking 8 marks, and then the second speaker is taking 5 marks, and then the summary is going for 2 marks. Rule as a particular debater. The first speaker, powerful, straightforward. You should speak in a manner that hits us. And then the second speaker comes in with the support. The first speaker is having 5 marks, the second speaker 3 marks, and then the summary is going for 2 marks. Now let's look at what the rules really say. The principal speaker on the affirmative team presents argument in support of the motion, and that takes 10 minutes. The principal speaker on the opposing team presents argument opposing the resolution, that also takes 10 minutes. And then the second speaker on the affirmative team presents further arguments in support of the resolution and identifies areas of conflict, answers questions that may have been raised by the opposition team, this time 7 minutes. And then you have the second speaker on the opposing team presenting further arguments against the resolution, identifying areas of conflict, and answering questions that may have been raised by the previous affirmative speaker. This again, 7 minutes for that. And then the principal speaker on the affirmative team comes with closing statements to their argument without adding any new information. And also uses the opportunity to respond to rebuttals if necessary. This time, 5 minutes. And then the principal speaker on the opposing team comes with closing statements to their arguments, again, without adding any new information, and also uses the opportunity to respond to rebuttals if necessary. This time, 5 minutes for that. Listen, the speaker must be very audible. And what you should note is that there shouldn't be any interruption when a speaker is on floor. You must wait for your turn. Now, the principal speaker is raising 5 points, and then the supporting speaker is raising 3 points. What that means is that if 5, your introduction of the point, a good point, 1, explanation, a good explanation, 2, support, a good support. And here, don't raise a point and then you keep giving us evidence that do not support the point. They must always be related, especially we, the judges. Sometimes you see them distributing papers. Sometimes they are not related to what they are saying. Please, if you do that, we will deduct marks. So, let's go for other rules. He who asserts, did he hear you? David will tell you energy. He who asserts, that's good. And in order to establish an assertion, the team must support it with enough facts and evidence. Facts and evidence must be accurate. Examples or visual materials are permissible, and once introduced can be used by the opponent as well. Now, tangible evidence must be tendered as exhibit to support facts. And in rebuttals, The debater rebutting must ask any constructive and clear question that has a direct bearing on the topic raised. The one rebutting must confine him or herself to questions and not make statements, comments, or ask any rhetorical question. Supporters from both sides are to exercise discipline. And this means that you are not supposed to induce or frustrate or intimidate your opponent. If you do that, we will take away marks from you. Now listen. Debaters must respect time. Once you hear the bell, you go and sit down. If you continue speaking, we will deduct marks for that. And then, in the event of a tie, the two schools involved will be given a motion to debate within 24 hours. Note this. The score of one judge cannot overturn that of two judges. And for that matter, we have the majority rule and then the unanimous decision. Now let's look at majority decision. What that means is that two of the judges will score for a school. And once that is done, we don't care what the other judge did. That school has won. Now, when it is unanimous, it means all the three judges scored for that particular school. Now, you see the gentleman on my left. If you have any problem, kindly go to him and that problem will be handled properly. Let's talk about reporting time. The reporting time for the contest is supposed to be 12:30. If you are late, you'll be disqualified. And I know some schools are watching us. If you are late, you'll be disqualified. Thank you.
Oh, he's your lead judge. He just run you through the rules of engagement and, of course, how they will score. You can do better with the applause. So let me at this point in time introduce you the accurate timekeeper. His name is Kelvin. Please, Kelvin, are you there? Okay, yeah. A while ago I could not see you because of the cameraman. So we've been told about, respecting time. And if you listen attentively to Dr. Peter Arthur, the principal speaker, the lead speaker, has 10 minutes. So when you have 3 more minutes to go on your 10 minutes, Kelvin will do this for you. As the lead speaker or the principal speaker, if your time is entirely up, this is what you would hear. For you, the supporting speaker, you have 7 minutes. So when you're done with 5, you have 2 more minutes on your time, you would hear this. And then again, when your time is entirely up, you would hear that. For the summaries, again, I'll go back to the principal speakers. You have 5 minutes each. When you have 2 more minutes to go on your time, Kelvin will do this for you. And then when your time is up entirely, he will do that. Thank you very much, Kelvin. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for us to have the contest 2 at the round of 16 stage at the 2026 edition of the Love FM Kel Charcoal Toothpaste High Schools Debate. Erianom! Erianom! One more time. Erianom! I can see you well seated with your flags and all. Please stand. You were with us last week during the preliminary stages. You qualified. You are here at the round of 16. So you know the drill already. You're standing because you're about to sing for us your school anthem. And I like the broad smiles I can see on the faces of your teachers and some of the students as well. It tells me that you're using the Kel Charcoal toothpaste. Well, it's true, isn't it? All right. So once you're standing, let me ask Francis, are you ready? Well, I'll ask a simple question because he'll be leading you, assisting you, supporting you to sing for us your anthem. So he's going to start playing your anthem and you start singing alongside. On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Grateful.
At this point in time, as you keep standing, and put your hands together for yourselves, and let's welcome your debaters. I don't know what you want to do at this point in time, whether you want to scream or shout, but let's welcome them. Martin Caleb is the principal speaker. Martin Koku Justice is the supporting speaker. And the flag is still being waved. They're still waving their flag. Students of Konongo Odumase Senior High School, they are for the motion, and they're about taking their seats. Well, all good. Saint Louis. Saint Louis. Saint Louis. Please stand. And again, you're also standing at this point in time because we want you to sing for us a school anthem. And Francis is still ready with your school's anthem. Are you ready to sing for us? No, I didn't hear you. Are you ready to sing for us? Once you're ready, on 3. 1, 2, 3. So thank you very much for singing for us the school anthem as well. You can put your hands together for your own selves. Are your debaters ready? So let's welcome them. Principal speaker is Nana Ekia Afrakoma Owusu, supported by praises Sewa Owusu Ansa. There they are, descending the stairs, and they'll be taking the seat to my left on the podium, and the debate will begin. The motion is legalization of Okada, that is tricycle, on our roads is not helpful. Konongo Odumase Senior High School are on my right and they are for the motion. St. Louis Senior High School are to my left and they are against the motion. Madam Chairperson, do we have your blessing to begin? She says yes. To all of you watching us on our socials, on Facebook, YouTube, and of course on TikTok, don't just watch us, drop comments. Becca would love to read from you. So drop comments as to how you are enjoying the debate. For those of you watching us on television, Joy Prime, of course, on Joy Learning, and those listening to Love 99.5, we say, get ready, you are just about to be wowed. Let's go to course and welcome their principal speaker, Martin Caleb, to start the debate.
Ladies and gentlemen, 3 months ago, a young teacher named Ama in Kumasi stood by the roadside at exactly 7 o'clock a.m., desperate to reach to her classroom before the international exams began. Yes, before the international exams began, stranded in dreadlock traffic. She made a quick decision millions of us make every day. She flagged down a commercial Okada. 10 minutes later, a sudden brake by an overloaded truck sent the two-wheeling flipping onto its side. Amma made it to the hospital, but not to her students. Her story isn't just an anomaly. It is a daily crisis happening on our highways. Ladies and gentlemen, Ladies and gentlemen, are we genuinely offering our citizens with a viable transport solution? Or are we simply legalizing a moving risk to human life? The ever-wise chairperson, bold and impartial panel of jury, accurate timekeeper, colleague debaters, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen, good day. Representing Konongo Odumase Senior High, I am Caleb Amwatan, the principal speaker, rising to affirm the motion on board, I quote, the legalization of Okada, that is the tricycle, is not helpful on our route, unquote. Panel, before I proceed to lay down my highly incontestable argument, permit me to elucidate some key terms of the motion for the better comprehension of all and sundry. According to the Cambridge English Dictionary, legalization is the process of officially permitting an activity that was previously prohibited by law, subject to condition. It then explains Okada in the Ghanaian context as the commercial use of tricycles or motorcycles for transporting passengers for fare. It finally explains road as a public riot developed for the moving of vehicles and passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, helpful is finally explained as a beneficial production of an effect to a solution without creating serious problems, safety, and economic concerns. The House. All in all, the motion simply depicts that the legalization of Okada will not, the chair, provide a beneficial solution to Ghana's transportation problems without creating serious problems. And that is why we, Trenianum, rise to affirm. Ladies and gentlemen, let me make our position very clear from the beginning. We are not against riders and we are not against employment. We are not against convenient transportation. The only thing we are against is the adoption to a solution that could deepen the already serious road safety and transportation crisis. The House. The real question before the House is not is Okada useful. The real question before this House is the legalization of commercial Okada the safest, most sustainable, and most responsible solution to Ghana's transportation challenges? The answer is no. And for that matter, we buttress our stance with our first points for today. That is, legalizing Okada could increase road deaths and serious injuries. The chair, our first and strongest argument is road safety concern. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana is already suffering from road safety crisis. According to the figures attributed to the National Road Safety Authority, Ghana recorded 14,643 road crashes with 2,949 deaths and then 16,714 serious injuries. Ladies and gentlemen, Madam Jackson, at a time where Ghana almost recorded 3,000 road deaths, should our response really be to expand our dependence on one of the most vulnerable means of transportation? I bet not. Motorcycles and tricycles were involved in 6,548 crashes in 2025, representing the increased rate of 18.4% compared to 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, meanwhile, the total road crashes increased by 9.4%. Ladies and gentlemen, this means tricycles are more likely to get themselves involved in accidents than even the total road crashes. The House. We are being asked to legalize and potentially expand the overdependence on a means of transportation. We are being asked to legalize and potentially expand a means of transportation whose involvement in crashes has been significantly rising. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ministry of Transport itself has acknowledged the safety concerns surrounding the growth rate of motorcycles in our country and the need for safety regulatory framework. Ladies and gentlemen, in Accra, tricyclists have accounted for their significant share of their road infrastructure compared to Kumasi, who also raised similar concern. The House. Therefore, legalization cannot be merely treated as an employment policy, but rather it is fundamentally a road safety policy. The House. When human lives are at risk, then the burden of proof must be extremely high. Rising on to our second assertion panel, we argue that Ghana's enforcement capacity must be strengthened before commercialization. Panel. Our second pillar is implementation and enforcement. Ghana does not lack laws. The only thing we find it difficult is the consistently enforcement of those laws. According to the Road Traffic Regulations 2012 LI 2180 reports that tricycles and motorcycles were restricted from actually carrying fare-paying fair paying passengers. But ladies and gentlemen, what do we see today? In Ghana, yet after this bill was passed, tricycles became widespread in action than ever. The House. This brings us to a very important question. If existing road regulations could not be consistently enforced, then, Madam Jackson, I ask, what guarantee do we have to enforce legally formed framework? Ladies and gentlemen, my opponent may say we will legalize Okada and then regulate it. But the House, our concern is not simply about if the Parliament is going to pass the law or not. Our concern is that the institution responsible for monitoring, licensing, and enforcement of the law has the resources and capacity to make this law happen. The House. The Ministry of Transport has indicated that commercial riders would require formal training and commercial licenses, with safety regulation and enforcement forming important parts of the framework. Ladies and gentlemen, if training, licensing, inspection, and monitoring and enforcement are essential conditional for making commercial tricycle operations safe, then legalization alone is not the solution. Because the chair, a law cannot be effectively enforced if it's not a complete solution to a problem it seeks to address. Rising on to our third assertion for today, we ratify the fact that legalization could normalize risky behavior. Ladies and gentlemen, there is an important distinction between legality and actual safety. The House, when an activity becomes legal, and then many people, let's say commercial Okada has been legalized, and then people start purchasing these Okada, the rate of people at risk is not only restricted to the rider, no, rather, this legalization is going to expand the number of people exposed to these risks. And I hope this is not why we are all looking for St. Louis Senior High School. The chair, the deeper concern is that legalization can expand the number of people exposed to these risks. My opponent may respond that let us simply regulate the use of helmet, licensing, and registration. Yes, we do acknowledge to that. But my opponent, you all can testify to the fact that regulation on the paper is not the same regulation on the road. The House. Let us be realistic. A helmet can reduce severe injury, but a helmet cannot necessarily eliminate the possibility of a collision. A license can establish that a rider has met competence requirements, but it cannot make a human being physically invulnerable. A registration number can identify a motorcycle, but it cannot prevent a collision. The fundamental question remains, a human being traveling on a relatively unprotected two-wheeled vehicle is more vulnerable in a collision than a person enclosed within a properly designed motor vehicle. Therefore, if we are actually serious about reducing road deaths and transport with extreme caution, then safety regulations are necessary, but necessary does not mean sufficient. Panel, rising on to my fourth assertion, I argue on the fact that legalization does not address the structural causes of Ghana's transportation crisis. The House. I know my opponents from St. Louis will mount this podium and say Okada is very necessary because Ghana lacks an adequate transportation system. Yes, we do concede part of that argument. There are some communities in Ghana who struggle to access taxis and buses. But ladies and gentlemen, we can all rectify the fact that Okada can reduce travel time in congested areas. And yes, it can create employment. But these benefits do not prove that legislation is the best solution. The House. A symptom should not be mistaken for a disease. And the disease is lack of transportation infrastructure, insufficient capacity, and congestion and weakness in the wider transport system. The World Bank has identified structural challenges affecting Accra's urban transport system, including rapid urbanization and increase in motorization. Therefore, congestion is not simply caused by the absence of Okada, ladies and gentlemen. Similarly, Ghana's road network faces challenges involving road quality. The chair of the House, I bow.
and gentlemen, legalization of Okada and commercial tricycles on our roads is indeed helpful. The Chair, the House, this is not just a hypothetical debate. This is Ghana's living reality. The Parliament has already passed the Road Traffic Amendment Bill 2025, formally legalizing motorcycle and tricycle as a commercial passenger transport, amending the Road Traffic Act 2004, Act 683. The National Road Safety Authority, NRSA, has publicly described this legalization as a positive step towards professionalism and rider discipline. The DVLA is already building licensing regime requiring eye test, theory test, and oral test before any rider is certified. So the Chair, the House, the question today is no longer should Okada be legalized, but rather is legalizing Okada helpful or not, which we confidently say that it is. To you, the ever-wise Chair, impartial panel of adjudicators, on-point time people, co-debaters, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. From the land of the pacesetters, St. Louis Senior High School, I am Nana Ekia Afakuma Owusu, a bold and eloquent principal speaker, rising vehemently to oppose the motion before the House, quote and unquote, legalization of Okada, that is tricycles on our roads, is not helpful. The Chair, for a proper organization and clarity, let us unveil the motion. Legalization, according to the Oxford's Advanced Learners Dictionary, is the process of making something that was previously illegal legal. Okada means commercial motorcycle, whilst Pragia means commercial tricycle, though they are both distinct. But this motion treats them as one. So, for the purpose of this debate, we shall use them interchangeably. Helpful from the same source also means something beneficial or useful. That is, something that makes a situation better or easier or solves a problem. The Chair, the House, the motion seeks to posit that allowing Okada to operate legally on our roads is not beneficial to citizens, which we rise vehemently to oppose. Now, to our first point, the Chair, the House, legalization of Okada is helpful because it creates accountability for crimes and accidents. Ladies and gentlemen, legalization attaches a legal identity to every rider, making them answerable for their own actions under a legalized system. Okada operators can be registered and licensed. The National Road Safety Authority, NRSA, stated that reckless practices such as driving against traffic, running red lights, and using pedestrian walkways were partly born out of the past illegality of the commercial motorcycle operations. Which have forced riders to avoid enforcement by skirting rules, as Mr. Henry Asmani, the Deputy Director of NRSA, explained, and I quote, initially, the Okada business was illegal, so they tried to dodge, and that is why they use all these areas. They don't stop at red lights, and they cross unauthorized places like zebra crossings and pedestrian walkways. I have even seen some motorcycle riders using footbridges, which they are not supposed to use, unquote. This new legal framework changes everything directly. Riders are required to register at a recognized union which maintains their records updated with the NRSA for effective monitoring and regulation. The DVLA will issue commercial riders licensing, requiring riders to pass oral tests, theory tests, and eye examinations, and authorities to identify riders and attack them when they take action when they violate traffic regulations or endanger passengers or any other road users. Without proper legal recognition, an irresponsible operator will be difficult to identify, monitor, or be held accountable. But once this operator is under a legal system, there are clear obligations attached to the occupation. This accountability protects the public rather than endangering them. Now, to my second point, the Chair, the House, we assert that legalization of Okada promotes road safety. Panel, legalization of Okada can promote road safety through proper regulation and enforcement. Legalizing Okada does not mean giving Okada operators unlimited freedom to operate anyhow, but rather it means taking their activities under a clear legal and regulatory framework. Once Okada is legalized, the government can set and enforce standards such as proper licensing, compulsory rider training, and strict penalties for traffic. Uncle Dave, let us have this classroom assessment. Imagine this. Which rider is easier to identify?
The rider who is operating outside the law, or the rider who has been trained, licensed, monitored, or known to the authorities. Clearly, it is the second. Under a legal system, riders can be identified, trained, licensed, monitored, and sanctioned when they violate road safety rules. Legalization, therefore, gives the government the tools to move from merely reacting to accidents to actively protecting them. The chair, the house, PRO. Others say that Okada is dangerous because accidents occur. Oh yes, but cars, buses, and commercial vehicles also cause accidents, don't they? Yet, we do not conclude that they should operate outside the law. If speeding is the problem, why don't we enforce speed limits? If inadequate training is the problem, we must ensure that training is made compulsory. The Director General of National Road Safety Authority, Abraham Amaliba, said on Joy News' The Law that Okada has become an established mode of transport in Ghana, and it is here to stay. So, a responsible government must regulate its operation to ensure safety rather than ignore it. The chair, the house, this strengthens our argument. If people are already using this mode of transport, government must ensure that its operation meets acceptable safety standards rather than simply leaving it outside an effective regulatory framework. Now, to my third point, the chair, the house, legalization of Okada is helpful because it generates revenue that can be reinvested into road safety. Panel, legalization is helpful because it turns a tax-free underground economy into a revenue stream public good. Every unregistered Okada is a lost revenue. No DVLA licensing fees, no road tolls, no income tax, no fines collected. That money could build better roads, install street lights, fund the National Road Safety Authority, and train MTTD officers. Panel of charges. Not legalizing Okada does not kill the business. No, it kills the taxman. It says every checkpoint into a marketplace for corruption. On the independentnews.com, Aboboya riders were asked to pay 75 cedis yearly for emissions levy. Ladies and gentlemen, pull out your calculators and let's do this simple arithmetic. If 2,000 Okada riders paid an emission levy of 75 cedis annually, how much is it? It is 1,800,000 Ghana cedis every year. That money could fund the construction of a pedestrian walkway in Accra, install speed bumps in school zones, and subsidize helmets for riders. These permit fees stay local and can fund safety infrastructure. Legalization is helpful, yes, but legalization is helpful because poverty cannot fund infrastructure. And I repeat, poverty cannot fund infrastructure. By legalizing and taxing Okada, we create a self-sustaining cycle because riders pay fees. Government use these fees to build roads, and safer roads reduces accidents. That is far more helpful than a ban that empties government coffers. My opponent, if legalizing Okada generates revenue that can be reinvested into road safety, why then do you say it is not helpful? Now, to my fourth point, the chair, we further assert that legalization of Okada is helpful because it improves transport accessibility and reduces the financial burden. Panel, legalizing Okada and Praia is helpful because they take transport to places where conventional vehicles often struggle to reach. That is not a theory. That is Ghanaian reality. In the north, rural communities depend heavily on motorcycles and tricycles because poor roads and limited conventional transport can make movement difficult. In Atebubu, 89 Pragia riders have organized themselves to provide transport while supporting their livelihoods. PRO, let's think of the farmer trying to reach the market. Yes. Let's think of the trader carrying goods, the student returning home, or the patient seeking healthcare. If the bigger vehicle cannot reach these remote areas, why then should we ban these small vehicles? Certainly not. The chair, the house, when a vehicle becomes the bridge between a citizen and the destination that matters, legalizing that bridge is helpful and not harmful. Lastly, the chair, the house, we assert that legalization of Okada is helpful because it responds to Ghana's actual road conditions. Panel of charges. Ghana's road conditions are all not the same. So, transport solutions cannot, and I repeat, can never ever be the same. From narrow village paths and feeder roads to rough, unpaved routes, motorcycles and tricycles provide essential transport in many rural communities. Speaking in an exclusive interview on Joy FM on Wednesday, January 28th, Mr. Kwame Abuja, the Minister of Roads and Highways, stated that 54% of roads are rated fair, while 22% are continue to remain in poor condition. This is not a condition where one-size-fits-all transportation policies can work effectively. In some areas, motorcycles are even the
only the motorized link to the wider road network, the availability of Okada on rough and narrow roads further proves that three-wheel transport can be adapted to Ghana's difficult terrain. So, panel, our argument is simple. The right vehicle must match the right. I rest my case.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's create an image here. Picture a high-speed arterial road. On your left is a 15-ton machine moving at 80 kilometers per hour. On your right is a lightweight open-sided tricycle carrying 3 passengers with no seat belts and no protective cages. My opponents are putting these tricycles on the same ways as heavy commercial vehicles. This is not a healthy market competition. This is a daily game of Russian roulette. When 200 vehicles compete for asphalt with a 15-ton machine. Then Dr. Peter Alpha, physics doesn't care about conveniences. Mrs. Jackson, physics doesn't care about employment. Physics always wins and human bodies pays the bill. To the otherwise chairperson, eminent panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, colleague debaters, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen, a lovely afternoon to you all. Representing the prestigious land of Afigyaman, yes, Konongo Odumase Senior High School, I am Botin Kweku Justice, the supporting speaker, speaking vehemently for the motion on board, and I quote, the legalization of Okada, in other words, tricycles on our roads, is not helpful, unquote. Let's say, by the clear developments of the sound arguments made by my principal speaker, I shall proceed with further evidence, logic, and clarity. But before that, let's just make something clear here. This debate is not about whether Okada can provide transportation. The real question is whether legalizing it is in the best interest of our public safety, national security, or the future of our cities. This brings me to our C's point. We rectify to the fact that legalizing Okada on our roads is not helpful because of insurance problems. The chair, the house, my opponents. Let's get interactive here. What happens if an Okada accident leads a passenger to permanent injury? Who pays? The rider who may barely be able to afford fuel, the victim's family, the government, or the insurance policies. Mind you, this is not a hypothetical question. This is a serious financial and social concern. Some insurance companies are unwilling to insure insurance to tricycle operators. The National Insurance Commission in Ghana has directed the insurance company to stop issuing insurance policies to tricycle operators used for commercial purposes. And even if insurance exists, overloading, a practice associated with some Okada operation, can invalidate coverage. This means that if tragedy strikes, a victim can be left without meaningful compensation. So my opponent, what legalization are we proposing if this same system cannot adequately protect those who are going to use it? Well, I pose this question to you. Legalizing Okada without a viable insurance framework is not a meaningful regulation. It is transferring the consequences of accidents to ordinary people. We cannot legalize first and act who is going to pay later. In our 7th extension, we rectify to the fact that legalizing Okada on our roads is not helpful because of public security concerns. The house. Public transportation is not just about movement. It is also about security. Tricycles may have unique advantages. They are small, highly mobile, and capable of entering to places where higher vehicles may struggle to go. This flexibility can be useful for legitimate transportation. Yes, we attest to that fact, but it can also create security challenges. In March 2024, the Takwa Circuit Court sentenced the 22-year-old Okada rider for engaging in robbery into 10 years imprisonment at Bompiesu. He used a pair of scissors and threatened the victim, stole 1,200 Ghana cedis and a mobile phone, and therefore escaped into a nearby cocoa farm. And the General Secretary of Okada Association in Ghana also raised the concern about the large number of foreign Okada riders and unregistered tricycles, claiming that these factors can make it difficult for us to detect criminals. And Dr. Foucault Kwartin, as the Kumasi Technical University, also warned that legalization can both increase crime rates and accidents. The house, let's make something here. I am not saying that all Okada riders are criminals. No, that would be unfair and untrue. But my argument is that if we are expanding transport system, we should also consider how this transport system can also be exploited. The question to the house simply just not be, can Okada carry passengers? No. The question is, can we guarantee the fact that legalizing Okada will not increase additional security vulnerabilities? Until that question has a convincing answer, we should never rush into legalization. In our 8th point, we believe that legalizing Okada on our roads is not helpful because Nigeria tried it and regretted it. So why should Ghana make the same mistakes? The House, one of the advantages of leadership is the ability to learn from other people's mistakes. We do not have to make a mistake ourselves before we learn from it. Nigeria tried to legalize Okada, but subsequently introduced restrictions on some areas because of concern related to their safety, security, and public order. Ghana should therefore directly and carefully consider Nigeria's experience before making the same path. Road crash and injury prevention analyst Dr. Tony Dixon Afiva noted that Okada originated from Nigeria but was later banned because authority regarded this as a major mistake. He therefore pointed to restrictions even in Lagos, where commercial motorbike transportation became established. And this is where I challenge my opponent. My opponent, if another countries have gone through the same path and are facing consequences and are therefore finding solutions to it, why should also rush to make the same mistakes? Well, I'll leave this question to you. Are we even learning from history, or we are volunteering to make one? And at Tema Community, at Tema September 2024, the Intellectual Patriots Advocacy Group called for an outright rejection to the proposal to legalize Okada business. And Transport Engineer Williams Aka also urged the government not to legalize Okada in our city. Now, the chair, the House, permit me to rebut some fallacies made by my opponents here. My dear opponents make an assertion that legalizing Okada we can legalize Okada and license them. My opponents, license does not automatically create discipline. Ghana already has traffic laws, yet accidents still happen, don't they? Well, I'll leave that question to you. They also asserted that legalizing Okada, other vehicles also cause accidents. Yes, but that is not a reason to add another high-risk commercial transport system. Since road safety is already a challenge, Ghana should not wait to multiply some to it again. They also asserted that we can train riders. Training is good, but training alone cannot overcome weak enforcement, poor roads, speeding, overloading, bad weather, and reckless behavior. My opponents also asserted that Okada legalization can generate revenue, and we can use that money to make our roads. But my opponent, what is the essence of this money for the roads? If generating this money are also putting risks of those who are going to use the same road. Well, I leave this question to you. If you are promoting roads for people to use it for transportation and other stuff, and it is going to put their lives at risk, my opponent, why then should we rush to put this money into roads and for transportation? Well, at this juncture, I therefore urge all you all in Sound as we rise boldly, firmly, and confidently for the motion about, and I quote, legalization of Okada on our roads is not helpful, unquote. Thank you.
Let's get interactive today. If legalization makes an existing transport service more accountable, more regulated, more responsive, and more accessible to Ghana's transportation needs, in what sense can legalization be called not helpful? Ladies and gentlemen, today we are not here to defend recklessness, but we are here to defend proper regulation. We are not here to promote disorder, but we are here to promote a system that brings order to a reality that already exists. With this, the exclusive chair, board and impartial panel of judges, on-point timekeeper, co-debaters, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Representing St. Louis Senior High School, I am Praises Sewa Uwisu Answer, the supporting speaker in full opposition of the motion, quote and unquote, the legalization of Okada, that is tricycles on our roads, is not helpful. The chair, for clear argument and development, I would like to add just a little to what my principal speaker said, as well as rebut some assertions raised by my brothers from Konongo Odumase. To point 6, the chair, we further submit that the legalization of Okada is helpful because it strengthens access to healthcare and other essential services. Ladies and gentlemen, legalization is helpful because sometimes transportation is not just about convenience, but it can determine whether a person reaches an essential service in time. So, if a transport mode can facilitate access to healthcare and other essential services in communities where normal public transport can face difficulties, then its legalization can produce a direct humanitarian benefit. The evidence is very compelling. In April 2025, the Hunger Project Ghana submitted over 5 modified tricycle ambulances to the National Ambulance Service and the Ghana Health Service in the Eastern region with the system designed to coordinate emergency responses and emergency referrals. Madam Jackson,
this is not just an idea on paper, but this is a clear proof that the tricycle is already being used as a practical instrument to reach people with essential services. So, if the Okada is already being deliberately deployed to bridge emergency healthcare gaps in underserved communities, how can the legalization of this same system be called not helpful? A question I pose to you. So point 7, the chair, we further argue that the legalization of Okada is helpful because tricycles can complement already existing transport modes. Ladies and gentlemen, an effective transportation system does not mean that every single vehicle should perform the same function. Buses, taxis, motorcycles, and tricycles all perform different functions, different routes, and serve different passenger needs. The Ministry of Transport in Ghana has recognized that tricycles and motorcycles are very, very important because normal public transport cannot reach every community and every passenger. Also, research from the Building and Road Research Institute found that motorcycles provide a large part of transport in some rural communities, reaching a solid 73% of passenger transport on the Abo-Hatogodo road. This means that tricycles and motorcycles are not trying to compete with conventional tricycles. Never. But it means that they are helping to fill the gaps that conventional tricycles are not able to fill. The chair, the house, a bus may be used on a major road, while an Okada may be used on a narrow road to connect an individual or community to the same transportation network. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call multimodal transportation system, where different modes of transport serve complementary purposes. Therefore, the legalization of Okada on our roads will be very helpful because it will help to create a well-organized transportation system where different modes of transport serve the same purposes. To my last and of course very favorite point, ladies and gentlemen, the legalization of Okada on our roads is very helpful because it brings about structured job creation and economic employment. The chair, the house, all of us here will testify to the fact that for decades, Ghana has been facing serious unemployment issues. Every year, our young people graduate with first-class degrees from top universities. But what do we see? They stay in home for years simply because there are not enough formal jobs to accommodate all of them. In this difficult situation, the Okada business has become one of the major alternatives for young people to turn to. Now, the question here it's not whether this employment exists, no. But the question is, because I can assure you that it does. But the real question is, do we want to see our young people working in fear, without protection, without access to credit, without insurance, and without dignity? Or do we want to see our young people working in a regulated and professionalized sector with clear rights and responsibilities? The answer is very, very obvious. The chair of the house, as one rider in Keta, communicated with the Ghana News Agency and told them that the Okada business has become one of the major sources of employment for Ghanaian youth, and even serves as a source of income for some SHS graduates who await further education. The legalization bill, when passed, will ensure that more jobs are created to accommodate some unemployed youth who were awaiting for better job opportunities to engage in manageable businesses rather than stay home idle. After all, what do our elders say? So my opponent, if legalization of Okada is already bringing us employment, and creating jobs, why then you sit comfortably there and try to throw dust in our eyes that it is not helpful? The chair permits me to dismantle and disarm my opponent's misleading claims, one fallacious assertion at a time. Right from their introduction, they gave us a scenario. They gave us a scenario about a teacher going to teach and involved in an accident because of Okada. And you stated that the Okada was hit by a truck. So technically, this is not the fault of the Okada. So right from your introduction, your arguments are pointless and baseless. They also argue that there are no seat belts and no protection. And that is exactly why we are talking about legalization. Legalize it and bring it under government control so that there will be enforcement and the right practices will be put in place. They also argue in their point 6 that legalization of Okada is not helpful because of insurance problem. This argument is not just weak, it is painfully shallow because it is not legalized. That is why they do not get access to insurance. So when they are legalized, they get access to the insurance that you are talking about. You might want to do your research and come back next time. They also argue that
because Okada's overload, it should not be legalized. The chair, the house. This argument is very poor because overloading is also associated to cars and trucks. So you are telling us that because I'm chocho overload, we should not legalize chocho. That is very poor. The chair, the house. They also argue. Thank you.
Well, standing on the pre-existing protocols, I am here to conclude my affirmation of the motion on board codes. The legalization of Okada, that is the tricycle, is not helpful on our route, unquote. Point one, we argue that legalization of Okada is not helpful because legalizing Okada could increase road deaths and serious injuries. Point two, we argue that Ghana's enforcement capacity must be strengthened before commercialization. Point three, we further submitted that legalization of Okada is not helpful on our roads because legalization could normalize risky behavior. Point four, we argue that legalization does not address the structural causes of Ghana's transportation crisis. Point five, we argue that the economic value of Okada can be achieved through safer and better regulated alternatives. Point six, we argue that legalizing Okada is not helpful because of insurance problems. Point seven, we argue that legalizing Okada is not helpful because of public security concerns. And then point eight, we argue that Nigeria tried it and regretted it. So why should Ghana repeat the same mistake? Now, panel, please permit me to rebut some fallacious assertions my opponent made on the ground. My opponent argued that cars get more involved in accidents than Okada. Yes, we do ratify that, but that is only because cars numbers outrages the numbers of Okada in our country currently. Ladies and gentlemen, let us be realistic here. The house. The number of Okada crashes in 2025 amounted to 6,548 with an increase rate of 18.4%. Ladies and gentlemen, let us compare this to the total increase of road crashes, which is 9.2%. So if Okada's crashes is only amounting to this 18.4%, where lies your argument of saying cars get more involved in accidents? My opponent also said legislation creates employment. Yes, we agree that people need jobs, but employment must not be purchased with human lives, my opponent, because human lives are precious. Also, my opponent made it clear that legalization automatically leads to enforcement, but we made it very obvious in our presentation that the legalization on the paper and enforcement of the paper is not the same we are going to see on our roads, because it has been done before where only 33% of the Okada riders agreed to wear on helmets. So where lies your argument? Also, my opponent further submitted that healthcare and essential services, my opponent, a healthcare does not justify making a risky commercial practice normal. A patient needs a properly transport, not an unstoppable motorcycle ride that may worsen the injury. The opposition is selling hope in theory, but we are protecting lives in reality. Ladies and gentlemen, I was very glad when whilst my opponents were singing their school anthem, they made mention of the pace setters, which means setting pace for others to learn. So I asked my beautiful ladies, what pace are we setting for future generation? Is it a pace that is going to expose lives to risk? Or is it a pace that is going to save us all rather than focusing on employment, taxes, revenue, mobilization, amongst others? Ladies and gentlemen, panel, my arguments are clear. I rest my case.
Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot solve a problem by pretending it does not exist. We solve it by regulating it. Okada is already part of our transportation reality. So the real question is not whether it exists, but whether we should leave it unregulated or bring it under proper control. Legalization can mean licensing, training, safety standards, and accountability. Therefore, we stand firmly against the motion because a well-regulated Okada system can serve the public better than an unregulated one. The chair, the house, I
I am here once again to give a decent summary of our points raised against the motion and rebut on any assertions made by our worthy opponents. The chair, we asserted that legalization of Okada on our roads is helpful because 1. It creates accountability for accidents and crime. 2. It promotes road safety. 3. It generates revenue that can be reinvested into road safety. 4. Legalization of Okada is helpful because it improves transport accessibility and reduces the financial burden. 5. It is helpful because it responds to Ghana's actual road conditions. 6. Legalization of Okada is helpful because it strengthens access to healthcare and essential services. 7. Legalization of Okada is helpful because tricycles can complement existing transport modes. 8. Legalization of Okada creates structured job creation and economic empowerment. Now, to rebuttals, the chair, the House. The chair, our opponents have presented the dangers and challenges associated with Okada as though those challenges automatically make legalization useless. But that is a flawed conclusion. The existence of problems in a sector is precisely why that sector requires regulation. If the concern is accidents, regulate safety. If it is reckless drivers, train and license them. If it is overloading, enforce passenger limits. And if it is non-compliance, impose sanctions. Our opponents are focusing on how Okada can be problematic, while we are focusing on how legalization can make its operations safer, more accountable, and more useful. Therefore, the question is not whether Okada has problems. Yes, it does. The question is whether Ghana is better served by regulated Okada or uncontrolled Okada. We choose regulation. Now, my opponent said Ghana cannot enforce the law. The chair, the House. If Ghana's law enforcement is weak, that is an argument for strengthening enforcement. Failure of enforcement is a governance problem, not prove that legalization is useless. My opponent should rather question the enforcement agencies and not attack a useful policy. My opponent also said that Okada is a threat to public safety. The chair, the House, we concede the risk, oh yes, but we reject their conclusion. Every mode of transport carries risk. The intelligence response is not blanket criminalization, but risk management. Identify the danger, assess it, reduce it, monitor compliance, and sanction violations. We regulate the risk. We do not eliminate the entire means of transport. The chair, do you know that Voxy, also known as the killer bean, and 2M Express are killing people almost every day on the Accra-Kumasi highway, but they are still operating. Why this attack on Okada? My opponents also came to rebut on our saying employment. The chair, the House, our opponents dismiss employment as a weak reasoning for legalizing Okada, but the evidence says otherwise. A KNUST study found that 85% of motorcycle riders surveyed were below 30, highlighting the sector's importance to youth livelihoods. More significantly, Ghana's transport minister stated that the legalization could regularize over 1 million motorcycle and tricycle riders who have operated informally. Employment is not a license for recklessness, but neither is risk a license to destroy livelihoods. My opponents said in their definition that Okada is the commercial use of motorcycles and tricycles for transportation. But the chair, Okada is the actual vehicle. Next time, my opponents, do your research well before mounting this podium. My opponents kept on saying legislation, whilst the motion is legalization. My opponents, do you know that you are actually supporting our stance by saying Okada is not providing seat belts? That is why legalization is helpful. Okada operators will be monitored closely to ensure safety. My opponents also provided evidence on Nigeria, but that was motorcycles, and the motion is specific about tricycles. So you've deviated. My opponents set up. My opponents also made mention of. My opponents also said, I rest my case.
Listen, I want you to put your hands together for all these young, amazing debaters. And from where I stand, I can see our judges at work. Some of them are nodding, the other is laughing or has a smile on their face. It tells you that they have really enjoyed the debate this afternoon. Let me hear you say heat. And I'm not hearing you heat. So which school do you think is going to win and qualify to the next stage? Which school? If I tell you I heard the name of the school, I'll be telling you a lie. So which school is advancing to the next stage of the competition? Don't worry, in a bit we shall find out the school who will be advancing to the next stage of the competition. But listen, just going by was a contest between Konongo Odumase Senior High School and St. Louis Senior High School. Now the motion was legalization of Okada, that is a tricycle, on our roads is not helpful. Now, course, they were for the motion, and St. Louis Senior High Schools, they were against the motion. At this point in time, I can see Patricia Amabonso with bags in her hand. I'm wondering what she has in the bags this time around. Each and every time she has something amazing in the bags. Pat, what do you have in there?
Okay, so you know that I have all of these beautiful things coming from our proud sponsor. That is Kel Chaco Toothpaste, Samara Company Limited, producers of Kel Chaco Toothpaste, and of course, Feco Spray Starch. Looks smart and sharp. And also, Sasso insecticide spray. There's one other product that they produce, but David, I think I'm going to start my questions with that. Everybody, please welcome to the Kel Chaco Toothpaste Minute. Kel Chaco Toothpaste. Happy smile. No, those in front, they are not saying anything. Kel Chaco Toothpaste. Happy smile. Okay, so question number 1. Are we ready? Yes. Okay, I have very beautiful bags, like David said, with me. And the first question I have is, which other insecticide spray and coil that Samara Company Limited produce? If you know the answer, just walk over to me right now and let me dash you this beautiful bag that I am holding. Please, let's clap for the beautiful lady from Konongo Odumase. She has the answer for me. So you first tell me the answer in my ear before you share it. Oh, please, she has the answer. Please, let the whole world know. What's the answer, sweetheart? Your name first.
I'm Felicia.
Feli, look into the camera for me. The whole world is watching you. Okay, so your full name?
Aduahinowabuatin Felicia.
And which other insecticide spray and coil does Samara Company Limited produce?
Roma insecticide spray and coil.
Okay, so what is the tagline for Roma insecticide spray and coil? Sasso is kumtonton preko. So which one is that we have for Roma?
Tonto Master.
And Tonto Master, she's actually correct. Please, let's clap for her as she takes a beautiful bag from Samara Company Limited home. Thank you so much. And so, question number 2. This one goes to the patrons. Please, do we have our patrons here? Can I see by hands our amazing patrons? Oh, it's a very simple question, though. Please, let's clap for our patrons as one of them comes over to answer this question for us. Clap for them. Hello. KNUST, Konongo Odumase, Afigyaman. Which one is coming? St. Louis Girls Senior High School. Please, I need a patron. It's a very simple question. The way you've been training them there, I know you have all the apport. Becca, can you select one for me? One patron. Just mention the school.
Afigyaman.
Afigyaman Senior High School patron, please show up. Let's clap for the person.
Okay, he's behind you.
Boss, please come. Please, let's keep clapping for him. The things he said before we started the show, when everything happens, he will come and account for his stewardship. Boss,
exactly.
Please, your name again.
Abraham Nakuma.
Okay, boss. So, apart from Kel Chaco Toothpaste, what other toothpaste brands does Samara Company Limited produce? It's very simple, oh. It's very, very simple.
Close up.
No! No. Please get me another patron. Get me another. Please, let's clap for him, but he's wrong. He's very, very wrong. Becca, please mention another school. It's very simple. Which other toothpaste brands does Samara Company Limited produce?
Okay, let's go with KNUST.
Okay, KNUST. I can see Sir Emmanuel in the crowd. Please, let's clap for him. He's coming to answer the question for us. Becca, this gentleman was my mate back at Lagos. No. We were in the political science class together. Today, he's representing the class. And I know you will not feel. Boss, so which other toothpaste brands do we have from Samara Company Limited?
Kiss 360.
That thing is even on the back. Boss, please, let's clap for him. He's actually gotten it right. Thank you so much. There's also Kel Kits and Kel 360 aside Kel Chaco Toothpaste from Samara Company Limited. Now, question number 3. Question number 3. Don't be looking into the boxes and the answers are not there. Please, question number 3. What are the various grams we have for Kel Charcoal toothpaste? What are the 2 various grams we have for Kel Charcoal toothpaste? I know you are drinking a pour. They are drinking a pour, but it's okay if you can drink a pour and give me the answer. Hey, madam, the one holding my bag, she says she has the answer. Please stand up. Let's clap for her. Oh, wait. Yeah, you mentioned your name first. Your name, please.
Please, I'm Azora Sylvia and I'm Wenome.
Okay, and what are the 2 major grams for Kel Charcoal toothpaste?
Okay, we have 150 grams and then 80 grams.
Oh, please, let's clap for her. Since you were keeping my bag, I'll just give it to you. And the last question. Rebecca, do you have a question? So that I'll give this bag away. Don't worry, I know you don't have a question, but... okay, you go ahead. Please, let's clap for Becca. She gives us the last question.
All right. 3 benefits. 3 benefits of using Kel Charcoal toothpaste. 3 benefits.
And I'm not going to Konongo Odumase again. They want to collect everything.
I want to go to Afigyaman. There are some ladies up there.
Please come.
The lady in the tracksuit, come down.
Please come. 3 benefits. In fact,
a round of applause for her as she comes down. Keep clapping for her. Hey. Everybody wants to go home a winner.
For her.
What's your name?
What's your name? Hey, she's holding money. Do you want to buy my bag? Okay, so what's your name?
Jumosa Juliana.
Okay, you are live on radio and also on TV, Joy Prime and Joy Learning. You heard the question that Auntie Becca asked, right?
Yes.
So 3 benefits. There are more, but you just give us 3 per.
Healthy gum, anti-gravity, fresher breath.
Please, would you clap for her? She's right, oh. Okay, so she's actually right, yes, and so that's a beautiful bag coming from Kel Charcoal toothpaste. And once again, we're reminding you that you need to brush your teeth, I must say, with Kel Charcoal toothpaste in the morning and in the evening. Even if it's possible and you want to use it in the afternoon too, it is perfectly allowed so, okay? Every great dentist that we have in Ghana would actually recommend Kel Charcoal toothpaste for you when you visit them. And remember that it reduces dental plaque, it has anti-cavity properties, it gives you fresher breath, it gives you healthy gums, and of course it also makes it very, very strong. The ogakata of it all, it whitens your teeth and gives you also fresher breath. So guys, once again, Kel Charcoal toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Kel Charcoal toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Rebecca, I see a box in front of you. Please, what is that?
Patricia, I don't know about you, but when I was in school,
yes,
we had pen pals. And then we had alliances. I don't know if you still call them alliance. Do you still do that? You call them your alliance.
Hey, so they all have alliance.
I used to write a lot. I used to write letters a lot. I love to journal. How many of you love journaling? I'm not saying writing letters to your alliance. Like journaling, having a diary and, inputting every single day. Do you do that? Please, what pens do you use? You better use Seppo Mystical pens. Use Seppo Mystical pens. Listen, when you go into the exam hall and you want to convince and not confuse your teachers when you're writing or when you're answering questions, I can guarantee Seppo Mystical pen will do that for you, even when you haven't read. But it doesn't mean going to the exam hall without reading. Please, that is why it is called a mystical pen. It will do the magic for you. So anytime you enter the exam hall, anytime you're writing your notes, you're writing your letters, you're writing in your diaries, make sure it is with what? Seppo Mystical pens. A round of applause for Seppo Mystical pens. And we are going to continue clapping until I end my list. So a round of applause for all of our sponsors. Samara Company Limited, make it louder for them. Without them, we wouldn't be here. To Christian Service University for giving us this beautiful auditorium. Until I stop, you're not going to stop clapping. Keep clapping. To Jackson University College, Didi Shito Homemade Taste, Seppo Mystical Pen, Bigo and Vena Mineral Water from Trillium Industrial Company Limited, New Generation Investment Services, Ochia Sekine Community Bank, St. Ben Jewelry, Tama Questions and Answers Textbooks, The Seed Travels, Amantia Community Bank PLC, Best Brain Publications, JM Addo and Sons, Orion Cyprus Publications, Rizzo Gary from Franzacos Limited Company. Now, how many of you are ready to listen to some of the comments I picked from social media? Are you ready to listen to some of the comments? Yes. Are you ready? Yes. When I ask, are you ready? Say ready. Are you ready? Are you ready? So this is coming from Bra Francis. He says, Caleb, go there. Heat. Browser King says, cost. The Egyptians you are seeing today, you will see them no more. Global Leader says, this is boys versus girls debate, and kudos to the girls, St. Louis. You are winning and nothing else. Sita Nail says, Caleb, clear them from our road. We don't need them on our stretch. Blank says, cost is winning. Nana himself says, Caleb, calm down, and I'm feeling the vibes from our supporting speaker. Pretty Dia says, Caleb's energy is a little low today. Caleb, what's going on? I am Mac Newton says, why are you rushing? Ladies, take your time. Afriel says, nice introduction course. Blank says, boys versus girls, but the boys have won already spiritually. Kelson says, she is good, but we are not here for a beauty pageant. Black says, looking at how the girls are frying themselves, I'm not sure they bought the Okada. And then Mr. Isaka Mama says, Afigyaman Senior High School will take over this time around. All on God says, we are a fiscal more them. I am Queen Bombless says, Afigyaman all the way. We will prove to everyone why we are the great leaders. 7 says Afigyaman all the way. Bra Francis says, greater fiscal all the way. Stanza says, this Ernestina girl is the upcoming Speaker of Parliament. KNUST all the way. Nanaya says, go Ivy, go there. Gaucho says, I am speechless. This Afigyaman girl is good. Someone tell her I love her. And on and on and on. So keep your comments coming through. David, these are interesting comments, and I am so glad I am not in high school, and I'm so glad I am not a debater, because these kids might have floored me. They would have floored me. So a round of applause to yourselves, all of you. You have done very well.
All right, so in no particular order. Great Fiscal. Great Fiscal. Great Fiscal. Emmanuel. Nyansapo. Erianom. Saint Louis. One more time, Saint Louis. You know what? You gave a very good account of yourselves today. One more time, a round of applause for your debaters. With that out of the way, the results are in. Are you ready to hear the results? Are you sure you're ready to hear the results? Very well. Now, before I announce the results, I'd like to say this very quickly to our viewers on television, Joy Prime, Joy Learning, to our listeners on radio on Love 99.5, to our viewers who are with us on the socials, on YouTube, on Facebook and TikTok. Whatever you do tomorrow, just like today, don't miss the contest for tomorrow. Don't miss the contest for tomorrow. And let me tell you the schools I'll be doing battle tomorrow. The first time winners of the Love FM High Schools debate is in Afigyaman Senior High School. And tomorrow, they come face to face with two-time champions, Kumasi High School. I like it. Everybody says, wow. Their motion is the teaching of feminist ideologies to girls in our schools should cease. Afigyaman, they are for the motion. Kumasi High School are against the motion. It's going to be fireworks tomorrow. The second contest is also going to be fireworks because it's also going to be between two-time champions and the defending champions, Pepe College, and they will come face to face with Church of Christ. It's going to be crazy tomorrow. And like I said, 1 p.m., book a date with us and don't miss it. The very first contest of the day was between KNUST Senior High School and Afigyaman Senior High School. And so the results. Our lead judge, Dr. Peter Atta, a while ago when he was giving us the rules of engagement and how to be scoring, also mentioned that we have what we call the unanimous decision and the majority decision. Let me just explain that. Unanimous decision means that all three judges, and we have three judges. All three judges scores for the winning school. That makes it unanimous. Then we have the majority victory or win, which means 2 out of the 3 judges scored for the winning school. Let me go through the results with you right now. And this one is a unanimous decision. KNUST Senior High School. When it came to organization and clarity, you got 24 from one of our judges, 25 from the other judge, and 26 from our final judge. So 24, 25, 26 amounts to 75. When it comes to argument and development, KNUST, you got 24 from one of our judges. The other also listened carefully and said, let me give them 24. The final judge also gave 24. 24, 24, 24 sums up to 72. Effective use of rebuttal, KNUST Senior High School, you got 9 from one of our judges. The other gave you 9 as well. The last judge gave 12. 9, 9, 12 sums up to 30. Presentation style, KNUST Senior High School, you got 12 from a judge, 11 from another judge, and then 12 from the final judge. 12, 11, 12 amounts to 35. Role as a particular debater, you got 8 from one judge, 8 from the second judge, 8 from the third judge. 8, 8, 8 sums up to 24. Let's put your results together. KNUST Senior High School. 75, 72, 30, 35, 24 sums up to 236. Afigyaman Senior High School. Same style or approach. Organization and clarity, you got 24 from a judge, 23 from another, and 24 from the third judge. 24, 23, 24 sums up to 71. Argument and development, Afigyaman, you got 21 from a judge, 21 from the second judge, 23 from our third judge. 21, 21, 23 sums up to 65. Effective use of rebuttal, Afigyaman, you got 8 from a judge, 9 from a judge, 8 from the other judge. 8, 9, 8 sums up to 25. Presentation style, Afigyaman, you got 9 from a judge, 10 from a judge, 11 from the other judge. So 9, 10, 11 sums up to 30. When it comes to role as a particular debater, you got 7 from a judge, 7 from the other judge, and 8 from the last judge. 7, 7, 8 sums up to 22. Let's put it together. 71, 65, 25, 30, 22 sums up to 213. So KNUST wins with a unanimous decision. And very, very quickly, Emmanuel must stand and sing for us your school anthem as you celebrate your victory. You've got 3 minutes or less to sing for us your school anthem. Starting now. 1, 2, go.
Steps and voices joy. See the things before us, not a look behind. There's the prairie spirit at our army's head. Who shall dream of shrinking by Jehovah led, forward through the desert, through hard times and fight. Jordan flows before us, Zion beams with eye. Jordan flows before us, Zion beams with eye.
Manginima, Nyansapo, see you in the next round. And to Afigyaman, you give a very good account of yourself. This is the very first time you are partaking in the Love FM High Schools debate. See you next year and do better next year. We wish you well. To the second context, it was between Konongo Odumase Senior High School and St. Louis Senior High School. The results, and for your information, this is also a unanimous decision. Organization and clarity, you got 21 from one of our judges, 22 from another, and then 23 from the last judge. 21, 22, 23 amounts to 66.
Argument and development course. You got 21 from a judge, 22 from a judge, and 24 from a judge. 21, 22, 24 sums up to 67. Effective use of rebuttals. Konongo, you got 8 from one of our judges, 11 from the other judge, 10 from the last judge. 8, 11, 10 sums up to 29. When it comes to presentation style, you got 10 from one judge, 10 from another, and 10 from the other judge as well. 10 plus 10 plus 10 amounts to 30. Role as a particular debater, you got 6 from one of our judges, 8 from the second judge, and 7 from the third judge. 6, 8, 7 sums up to 21. We'll tally your results now. 66, 67, 29, 30, 21 sums up to 213 for Konongo Odumase Senior High School. Now the results for St. Louis Senior High School. Organization and clarity, you got 24 from a judge, 23 from the second judge, 26 from the other judge. 24, 23, 26 sums up to 73. Argument and development, you got 23 from one of our judges, 23 from the other judge, and 26 from the other judge. That's the final judge or the last judge. 23, 23, 26 sums up to 72. Effective use of rebuttal, St. Louis, you got 11 from one judge, 11 from the other, and 10 from the final judge. 11, 11, 10 sums up to 32. Presentation style, St. Louis, you got 12 from one of our judges, 10 from the other, and then 10 from the other judge. So 12, 10, 10 sums up to 32. Role as a particular debater, you got 7 from one of our judges, 7 from the other judge, and 8 from the final judge. So 7, 7, 8 sums up to 22. We'll put it together as well. 73, 72, 32, 32, 22 sums up to 231. So with a unanimous decision, St. Louis Senior High School moves on to the next stage of the competition. To COS, we'll say better luck next time, and God be with you. St. Louis, please be upstanding and also celebrate your victory by singing for us your school anthem on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Sing to noon, we shall be one. Beyond the fields, the will of God. Setting the pace is our hallmark. I am proud to be in St. Louis Senior High School. Oh, sing to noon, we shall be one. The will of God, setting the paces on. I am proud to be in St. Louis Senior High School. The integrity of the nation depends on us. Austerity depends on us. St. Louis plays a test the primus inter pares. We shall always be the first among equals.
Congratulations to St. Louis Senior High School. Better luck to COS. Hope to see you next year. But before I hand over to Patricia Amabonsu, I just want to do a few things. So like I said, book a date with us tomorrow, because the first time winners of the Love FM High Schools debate in TI and Mass, they'll be facing 2-time champions Kumasi High School tomorrow. The motion will be the teaching of feminist ideologies to girls in our schools should cease. Then the second contest will be between 2-time champions and of course the defending champions, Prepare College. They'll pitch their strength against Church of Christ tomorrow at 2. Madam Chairperson, panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, to all the team from multimedia, to all of you who watched us on television, watched us on our socials, and listened to us on radio, we say thank you very much for your time. See you tomorrow. Patricia, take it away.
Okay, thank you so much, David, and we come to of the first and second contest for the round of 16 of the Kel Chaco Two Face High Schools debate. at the Christian Service University. And at the end of the day, the two semi-finalists, or two of the semi-finalists from last year, that is St. Louis Girls Senior High School and KNUST Senior High School, have made it to the quarterfinal stage of this competition. And just as they explained before the competition, let's find out from them what they did differently for them to make it out to the next round of this stage. And let me speak now to the two amazing, of course, debaters from KNUST Senior High School right now. I understand you are celebrating your 65th anniversary.
Yes, please.
And what would this win mean to your school?
Well, this win is actually demonstrating why we are celebrating 65 years of discipline and responsible behavior, which is a pathway to sustainable national development.
And what do you do differently up there?
We worked hard, we prayed, and we had the favor of God.
I see. You were someone we saw last year right on this stage. What did you do differently? What kind of preparation have you done for yourself, or did you do for yourself?
We've been preparing a lot, and I've learned a whole lot of mistakes from last year's performance. So although today I couldn't deliver to my expectations, but I'm looking forward to doing best in the next stages.
Do you think it because your school wasn't part of, let's say, the zonals or the preliminary stage, that's why you felt you were slacking today?
Please, that wasn't the case, because although we weren't part of the zonal contest, but we had some small preparations before today's contest.
What do you want to tell your friends from Afigyaman Senior High School?
I want to tell them that no matter what happened today, we still love them, and I wish them a better luck next time.
Okay, now let me go to the patron who also spoke to us before the competition began. And what was going through your mind whilst your ladies were on stage debating?
As I said earlier, this contest will announce our presence. We know the target we set for ourselves. We are far from the target, and we are moving steadily towards achieving the ultimate.
And what is the plan for the quarterfinal stage, KNUST?
Okay, first I have to congratulate Afigyaman for a contest that they gave us. Now we've seen some setbacks, we've seen some weaknesses in our team, so we go back to the drawing board and you look at areas we have to improve so that in the quarterfinal we will do better than this time.
Okay, thank you so much. They are hoping to do better at the quarterfinal stage. That is KNUST Senior High School. Majima Rai, they're triumphing over Afigyaman Senior High School. Let's now speak to our also from St. Louis Girls Senior High School. They were a semi-finalist from last year, and they have actually also booked a seat now at the quarterfinal stage. Remember that this competition is proudly sponsored by Kel Chaco Toothpaste from Company Limited. Yes, they also produce Kel 360 and Kel kits when it comes to quality toothpaste. Now I'm going to go straight to this beautiful lady here from St. Louis Girls Senior High School. I'm seeing you for the first time, right?
Yes.
And how prepared were you coming in today?
We were super prepared, but the nervousness was still there. But then, yes, St. Louis, we are the pace setters, so we set the pace and they follow.
At a point, I'm sure Konongo Odumase shocked you.
Yes, they did. But then we've seen their previous contests, so I wasn't that surprised. I was prepared for them.
You were prepared for them, okay. And you also share some words with us. Congratulations for making it to the quarterfinal stage.
Thank you very much.
So, St. Louis, what's the plan for the quarterfinals?
So next time we are coming back with more energy and more heat, and what we did today we are going to do even better, because we thought this was going to be an easy win, but honestly it was not. So next time we are going back to our drawing board. We are going to learn and unlearn some things, and we are coming back with full power, full heat and full force. So any school that we are going to meet, they should just sit back and watch out for us.
Okay, so let me go finally to the patron, and your girl is telling me that they took it for like child's play. But then at the end of the day, they realized that Konongo Odumase wasn't a match for them also.
Yeah, actually they did well. But as you know, as pace setters, we are always here to set the pace. So we did it as usual. But trust me, the next contest, we are coming with heat. Say heat.
Me, I should say.
Yeah, say heat. Yeah, because we are coming with heat.
I see. But what message do you have for your fellow patron at Konongo Odumase Senior High School?
Well, I think horses and chariots are prepared for war, but victory indeed comes from the Lord. So it is the doing of the Lord, but they should keep on doing their best, and I know one day will be their chance.
Okay, so they should keep doing their best. That is what St. Louis Girls Senior High School are telling their friends from Konongo Odumase Senior High School. And this brings us to the end of proceedings for today. Tomorrow, God willing, will come your way with contest 3. High Schools debate here at the Christian Service University. Once again, we'd like to say thank you to the God Education Service, the Ashanti Regional Students Representative Council, the Conference of First of Assisted Senior High Schools, and our proud title sponsor, that is Kel Chaco Toothpaste from Samara Company Limited. Grab one today at any supermarket. But if you want bulk purchase, locate Samara Company Limited in Kumasi. They are at Dunkirk, right opposite the fuel station that you find there, and also find them in Accra at Plot 144, Sasso Street, Ajenga Northeast, Legon. But we have also our branches across the 14 regions left for you. And so, you know what we say, Kel Chaco Toothpaste, always enjoy a happy smile. My name is Patricia, and on behalf of production in Kumasi, we say thank you for watching us on Joy Prime, Joy Learning, and also listening to us on radio, Love 99.5 FM.